Ahoy, everyone, and welcome not to Horizon's Call, which is where I typically say ahoy, but to Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, a Pride Month charity campaign, or part of the charity campaign, right here on Sword and Key. Throughout the month of June, we are raising money for Lambda Legal, and I am very pleased, honored, just absolutely beside myself to be joined by these very lovely individuals, all of whom have been wonderful enough to join us to raise that money for that great cause. I want to have them introduce themselves and say more about themselves. Before all of that, I do want to say a couple of things right up at the top. First of all, I do want to talk a little bit about Lambda Legal, and just because it's not one of those philanthropies that has a very clear thing as to what they do just by the name. So, if you are not familiar, Lambda Legal Defense and Education Fund is the full term. They work to defend and achieve full recognition of the civil rights of queer people and people living with HIV and AIDS in the United States. Their efforts focus on impact litigation, education, and public policy work. For over 50 years, they have fought and won landmark legal cases and even now have 6 active cases against the current administration. This Pride Month, Sword and Key is raising money alongside their official Tiltify fundraiser, which means that every dollar donated will be matched up to $150,000. So donations are open now. The Tiltify link is in chat. There are also other ways to help, just in case you are looking for other ways to be active with this. Sharing the events, boosting posts, even looking into volunteering your time with the organization. Every little bit helps. We currently have a goal of 200. We're currently at 85. We will raise that goal as we hit it, as I'm confident that we will, because we have a fantastic community that values the importance of people being valued as people. So there are incentives built into this game. This game uses a slightly different rule set than a lot of the other games we've featured here. Typically rolls 4d6 for every typical skill check or characteristic check is what they refer to them. So you can provide things that are called nudges, which is where a character might be one die away or one number away from success. A nudge will push that die in one direction or another, typically upwards, to achieve that. That'll be a $5 incentive. There's a $10 incentive to give a single die reroll, and then a $30 incentive to give the reroll to one single player for 3 of their 4 die on a single roll. And then for $40, you can grant a critical success, a pretty rare thing, but essentially allowing them to reroll all 4 of their die and get a critical success, which is a 6 all across the board. We'll talk more about the rules here in a little bit, but just know that every donation is really appreciated. It really helps. It's also important to remember that if you are willing and able to donate, take care of yourself. And if you have a little bit extra sitting around, it's always very much appreciated to go towards a great cause like Lambda Legal. I should also say that this is a Sword and Key production. We are Sword and Key here. I'm the sword half of Sword and Key. I don't even know if I said my name. I'm Derek. I use he, him pronouns. I'm your GM for this game. You can find all of Sword and Key stuff at beacons.ai/Sword and Key. You can find all of our links. Our Discord is there, our Twitch if you're watching this live, our YouTube if you're watching this later. We do have the link for Lambda Legal posted there, in addition to some other charitable organizations we're in support of. We also have some of our great affiliates linked there as well. We are affiliates with Hit Point Press, the makers of Humblewood and Griffin's Saddlebag books and the Islands of Sina Una, and just tons and tons of stuff. You're guaranteed to find something that you love, something to add to your TTRPG collection, even plush minis, VTT stuff. And you can use our custom affiliate link if you're going to be purchasing anything from them. We are also affiliates with Eldritch Foundry. And speaking of VTT, I just got an email right before this game that they have moved into VTT stuff. So you can make your TTRPG character there. You can both get a physical miniature of them as well as a VTT model of them should you be playing in the digital space, and you can use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase there. Eldritch Foundry does custom minis, no matter how weird and wild or normal and mild your TTRPG character might be. They have a lot of great options to form them. And of course, we are also affiliates with Long Dog Dice, the makers of incredible dice sets, including these fancy new Horizons Call dice. which the D6 has the Sword and Key logo on it. They're very, very cool, and they are currently for sale, or pre-sale at least, where you can get your own Horizons Call dice. They are a beautiful shade of blue with little flakes of copper in them, and I absolutely love them, and Jen was wonderful enough to make the dice set available to everybody else. This was a custom order that I placed. You can also place your own custom order should there be something there that like is pretty close to what you want, but not exactly there. But I'm pretty confident you're going to find something you love there. All that said, let's go ahead and go around, have our lovely cast introduce themselves and maybe say a little bit about their characters. Abhishek, you are first on my screen, if you don't mind going first.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Abhishek Katange. Using him pronouns. I will be playing Kayn, also using he, him pronouns. He is a Riven. Very interesting sort of spellcaster. Very eldritch, very antisocial, very just very him is very good way to put it.
Very him. I really like that. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Dex.
Oh, sorry, I'm going second. Okay, hi, I'm Dax. I use she, her pronouns. I am going to be playing Lucy, who is the captain of this absolutely fantastic, absolutely no nonsense crew. I guarantee you. And I guess you'll have to wait a little bit to hear of what Lucy's deal is. And I'll just leave it at that.
Fantastic. Yeah, no nonsense to be had here. None whatsoever. Why would you even ask? Next up, we have Val.
Well, that me. Hi, I'm Val. My pronouns are she, they. I will be playing Araceli, the Windcaller, pronouns they, them. And I don't know what else to say about them other than you'll get to find that out. Yes, I'm so good at this.
So many secrets. Fantastic. And last but absolutely not least, we have Amaya.
Hi, I'm Amaya. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Naomi, the scoundrel, who lives up to her name in her chaotic demeanor. She is maybe a little bit of a pickpocket, so hold on to your coins.
And maybe a little bit. I love that the pickpocket, like everybody else is like, well, you'll just have to wait. But the pickpocket's like, no, I'm going to steal from you.
Yeah.
Why would I lie about that?
What can I say?
Yeah.
Most honest pickpocket ever.
You know, if you're going to steal from somebody, why lie? That's just salt in the wind.
Exactly.
This is Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. This game takes place in an alternative world in the way that a lot of chthonic, Lovecraftian sort of mythos does. While we're on the topic real quick, fuck Lovecraft. He was a real piece of shit, and I'm very pleased that we can raise money for an organization that probably he would have hated. I hope he is rolling in his grave so much that he creates energy from it. I think that this is a really cool setting. We did a Sword and Tea with the game creator James Barry not that long ago. He was fantastic to chat with and put a lot of thought and effort into this game. So while this game does take place in essentially what is the golden age of piracy, this time where you had all of these big names, where you had Calico Jack and you had Anne Bonny and Blackbeard and Captain Hornigold and there's another one I'm trying to remember. I can't remember his name right now. But all of these pirates all existed right around the same time in this very like brief spurt of history. Blackbeard only was around for like 4 years at his height. So this is an alternative history where piracy happened. Colonialism happened in the Americas, but then shit went downhill pretty quick when eldritch stuff started popping up in the Caribbean. It pretty much destabilized all of Europe, and Europe is just an eldritch hellscape right now. It still exists. There's still people existing and fighting the eldritch stuff there, but most of the royalty in Europe has aligned themselves with some pretty dark mysticism. Meanwhile, the Caribbean was essentially cast asunder. Islands were sunk, leaders were torn apart mentally and physically, and piracy really took over to the point where you had a new form of leadership existing in the Caribbean with the Brethren Court. So the Brethren Court now operates as the leaders of all pirates. There are different heads of the Brethren Court who all have their own factions, and they all essentially send out their ships, their sailors, their pirates, their buccaneers, to seek out gold and fame and glory and also magic. So there's a level of both we're going to fight what's out there, but also we're getting something out of it while we're doing it. We're not doing it out of the kindness of our hearts. There's a lot of other powers in the area. The Taino are a major power as well, probably the largest non-pirate political power. So we're going to touch on some real world stuff at the same time. This game intentionally sets aside a lot of the more nasty, unpleasant parts of real world history and basically says, when, Cthulhu's literally a thing, humanity doesn't have time for all this other stuff. So slavery is not going to be a part of our game, even though it was a real historical part of the pirate era, the golden age of piracy. And we're going to not touch on some of the more unsettling issues. We have plenty of other unsettling things with tentacles and eldritch horror. We're not going to touch on too much of the awfulness of humanity because humans can be awful in a magical sense. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and set our scene. So our game, our story picks up on the sunken island of the Brethren Court. You all find yourselves, as any proper game should, in a tavern, in a drinking establishment. This is one where you have found yourselves a number of times before. It's a place where a number of pirates tend to find themselves. It's very close to the docks here on the island. There's this little inlet where a lot of the ships will dock so that you can see from where you are. As it is a sunny day, it's still probably a little bit into the early afternoon, so the sun is still high enough in the sky that there's lattice work around you with vines kind of trailing down to give a little bit of shade, but the sun beats through in these little square boxes all around you from the lattice. And far out, you can see that there are several ships with their sails reefed and their anchors dropped. A few of the ships have also made it to the docks themselves, and longboats are bringing in various goods for trade, fencing, a variety of different purposes there. You can see all around you at these trencher tables, these bench type tables, are other crews, other pirates, but the four of you find yourselves sitting alone. The bartender minding his trade behind the bar, very stereotypically spits into a glass and wipes it. There's a little bit of music playing in the area. You can hear the squawking of brightly colored birds above, and the soft ringing of ship bells very, very far off. But otherwise, there's just chatter all about. As we look to your characters, we have Kayn, we have Lucy, we have oh, I'm sorry, my documents. There we go. Naomi, and then it's Araceli. It's a soft C, Val?
Araceli, yeah.
Araceli. Great, thank you. Sitting around, what visually would we see for your characters? Let's go ahead and just go around. Abhishek, when we're looking at Kayn, what is the first impression we get from this individual?
I think the first impression that a lot of people who don't exactly know Kayn would get from seeing him, if they had one word to really describe it, it would either be odd or dangerous, some middle ground of the two. Because most people just find that there's like some sort of weird aura around him. He looks he's got long hair that's a little unkempt. He's wearing his traditional like shirt and breeches, like kind of common style of dress for most pirates in that era. But long unkempt hair, dark circles under his eyes, whether that be makeup or just stress or other things. We don't exactly know. And he just sort of sits there slouched a little bit, nursing a drink or something, but he's got a little bit of a strange aura about him.
Okay. Next up then from our ratty looking sailor. Maybe that's unfair. I don't know. The unkempt hair, um I don't mean to judge. I listen, I don't judge. Dex, maybe the opposite end of the spectrum from Kayn is Lucy. What will we see when we see Lucy?
I like how you assume that Lucy is the opposite. Of
Though you
Kayn.
made her sound like, at least in your intro, is more like straight laced and is more of a captain. Again, I'm making assumptions. Please correct me.
You are making assumptions, but that's okay. So Lucy is sitting nearby. She does not cut an imposing figure, standing like practically 5 foot even, and that's with heeled boots. She has very similar kind of outfit to Kayn, where, breeches and linen shirt, dressed very masculine. Long curly blonde hair kind of tied back into a loose ponytail, and the captain's hat kind of tilted downward just enough so her face is shaded. Just quietly sipping on a pint and just watching the activity in the tavern, not saying much, just observing.
Okay. Val, what about Araceli?
I think Araceli's probably, comparative to those two, is very aloof, and no, I wouldn't say tempt or they still look just as kind of messy. Not to judge the other two too harshly. Anyway, but no, they wear kind of like a shirt, kind of a little bit torn. It's they just always look a little bit. I almost want to say damp. Just a little bit. They're always look like they just jumped in the ocean not that long ago. They just kind of have this strange, sort of just perpetually a little bit sea ridden. That's maybe not the right word, but and they have long kind of curly hair that they do not, whatever it is, whatever will be with their hair, and light brown skin, and they have glowing like sort of pale blue tattoos, because I like Fenris from Dragon Age 2. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's hey, live your best life. And then Amaya, what about your character?
Yeah, Naomi is always moving. She's like fidgeting with something, probably a coin or just whatever's around, and always like moving a little bit, whether it's to like the music that's playing or just something going on in her head. Like she's like got energy. And she's also not huge or imposing at all, but she wears like sleeveless leather shirt and just has both sleeves of tattoos that are like not intricate, beautiful pieces of art like a lot of people who have full sleeves of tattoos. They're just like, they look like what you would doodle on a napkin. And she was like, good, do that. And she wears these like baggy, patchy, loose-fitting hair and pants that are just full of pockets. And she wears a lot of gold jewelry, or the rings, bracelets, necklace, earrings, just all a lot of bling, despite her not very fancy clothing that goes with it.
Wonderful. I love the idea that it's like somebody that is like, listen, I want tattoos. I don't care what they are. I don't care about I just ink. I just want ink on my body. Not in any designs, just smiley faces, frowny faces, whatever you got. Is that a snake? Is it a worm? Who knows? Let's do it. Great. So it's a pretty calm day. You see that the notice board, which is posted in this tavern. Oh, also the name of the tavern is the Gallows. It is named as such because that is where all pirates end up, and so all pirates either end up at the end of the rope or at the end of the bar. So it's one of those. It is literal gallows humor. But in the Gallows, you know that there are this is kind of like a general gathering space. It is the best place closest to the ships, closest to the docks, to get a half-decent drink, a slightly less than half-decent meal, but also to hear all of the scuttlebutt that is going around. There is a notice board that is posted here, so when any of the heads of the Brethren Court or any of their subsidiaries have jobs, they typically post them up there with either, a piece of parchment with a nail, or if they're feeling particularly spicy and don't care about losing it, a knife. The notice board is noticeably bare at this point. There's like one half piece of parchment which has been torn off by somebody who didn't really care about reading the rest of it. There's no wanted posters, there's no real jobs around. So there's a lot of sailors in this bar right now. There's a lot of chatter because you really don't go to sea these days unless you have to. There's not a lot of pleasure cruising when, some sort of terrifying eldritch being could reach up and pull your ship down with a whim. So as you're kind of looking around, is there anything in particular any of you would be doing in kind of these doldrum days?
All I gotta say is you're making an awful lot of assumptions on this stream, Derek. I mean, now you're assuming that people wouldn't pay for those kinds of cruises. I mean, come on. There's always somebody who would pay for those.
That's true. Those people are typically cultists. So, they do, and their money still spends at the end of the day. Their pleasure is a little different, but again, we don't judge. Okay. Please go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say you asked what we were doing.
Yes.
I think, seeing as there's no notice board, the tavern is clearly crowded, and like you said, the sun is beating down through the trellis, and I imagine it's at least partially on the beach.
Yes, like
so
there's
sand
a little bit of
everywhere.
stonework. Absolutely, the sand kind of is encroaching into this stonework floor where you sit.
So I think, looking around, we've probably all been here for a while. I think I'm bored at this point. There's nothing to do, nowhere to sail, no jobs. So I think I'm gonna stand up. I'll kind of like heavily set my pint glass on the table, kind of intentionally to get folks' attention, and be like, all right, so if we are going to be waiting for notices, I say, as it is hotter than the Sun King's bedchambers, that we should be having a bit of a contest, like have a little bit of fun, yes? So who's up for a round?
Of what?
Drinks.
Yeah, Naomi immediately stands and walks over and is like, I'm in! What are we doing?
Fine, we have to.
How tall is the rest of the group? Because I said that I was pretty short.
Araceli's like 6'4".
Oh God.
They're giant. It's like,
Kayn
what
is
are we
also
doing?
fairly lanky. He's like 5'11".
Naomi's like 5'3". She doesn't wear heels or anything though.
So we have like the smalls and the talls.
Yeah.
There's no
Basically.
in between here.
No.
Yeah, your bar chart is either doing really well or doing very poorly.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'll look at the four of you and then say, well, I guess that depends. Are you up for a bit of a 1-2 punch? Or are we looking to play some cards? But we do need to do something. Also, I just want to point out I intended to do a French accent, and somehow we're in Ireland. We're just
It's really good.
at this point.
Yeah.
I did not even
Hey.
question it.
No, yeah.
Well, if we're fighting, I totally just adopted your accent. So what the hell just happened?
Love this.
That'll happen.
Infectious.
Mhm.
Well, if we're fighting, I dibs that one, and she will point to just the lankiest person who does not seem to be very like muscular or huge. Not the 6'4" Windcaller.
Okay.
Really?
It's funny.
Fine, but I get to use spells.
Magic? What a cheater!
Derek,
When were there
remind me,
ever any rules?
what is
Fair
the-
enough.
Sorry, go ahead, Dex.
No, it's okay. I was trying not to. I didn't mean to.
No, you're
try to
totally fine.
interrupt the other two. What is the lowest currency again?
The lowest currency, I meant to write that down. Let me double check that. Because I know it's below a real.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember what
so-
the name of it is.
There we go. A specie.
Species.
A specie is 1/10 of a real, 100th of a doubloon. So if you think of a doubloon as $1, a specie is a penny.
Okay.
This is a lot of math. So my character has no money anyway.
So yeah, if you, we'll consider like a doubloon is essentially the
A
equivalent
gold.
of $1 or a gold piece. Yeah. So a specie is a penny, a real is a dime, a piece of 8 is a $10 bill, and then a gold bar is a Benjamin.
Okay.
That's fair.
I'm gonna take out a couple of species. I'm gonna like raise it up high and call out to the bar. My money's on the shorty. Any takers?
Let's have our first check here. Let's call this characteristic check of savvy, as you are trying to convince some folks. This definitely feels like a charisma
dear.
sort of thing.
Okay.
So let's see if you can get some other people in. And you know what? I will give you a reroll on one of your die, because this is a bar full of bored pirates, which means they have probably like a lot of gold in their pockets and not a lot to do with it.
Okay, that's fair.
Is there any sort of like helping ability in the system? Because I have a whole skill that's about winning people over to like me, and I would like to like show that I'm worth rooting for because I'm just so likable.
Yeah. So skills and traits are something that your character can have. What is the skill you're referencing?
Easy company. You gain a reroll on savvy characteristic checks when talking to a friendly or neutral NPC for 5 minutes or longer.
Great. What we can say is, if you are going to be helping, what would you like to do to help? Let's start there.
I think she's just joining in on the banter to the non-existent crowd and is like,
It's like a person starting a slow clap, trying to get other people in. Yeah, trying to build the energy.
Or like she's putting her money on the right person. I'm just saying, and is trying to like show off in any way.
Okay. If you would like, you can grant that reroll to Lucy. So that'll be 2 rerolls for your Dex there.
Okay. Are you gonna tell me what I'm trying to hit?
Let's call this. Let's see here. Let's call this a medium check. So you're trying to hit a 16 or above.
Okay. That dice is going away. Not that I needed the rerolls, but the original dice plus the 2 rerolls were all 3s.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I got a 17.
Sure did. Okay, great. Okay, so with that, as you kind of like send up this this compulsion to everyone to kind of join in on this betting, instantly you see several people pushing back from the table, spitting around on the benches. All of these, kind of smelly, disheveled sailors. Some of them have been at the bar since before dawn at this point. So they start reaching into their pockets, into their pouches, coming over to the table, stumbling over. Fine. You want to have gamble. Done. But I'm not betting on the little fella.
I'm gonna look at this person. I'm going to assume that they've been in their cups quite a bit.
Yes. This is a sailor on another ship. This is Hitchcock Lamb. So Mr. Lamb is a frequent visitor of the gallows, and one of its finest. He loses a lot of gold here. I wouldn't say he's one of their finest customers. That's probably not fair to the people that actually have to serve him. Yeah.
Okay. Looks him up and down. you got a problem with the small ones. Do you know?
I just don't
might
trust
wanna rethink
anybody
that if
that
I
I
was
can
you.
throw.
Have a couple more to wine, sure. And I'll like tap his shoulder and like kind of like push him along and try to see if I can get other people to come up and make the bets.
Yeah, you've gotten a little line here. There's about 5 or 6 of the sailors who have lined up, and they're tossing their gold, kind of like in the pot in the center of your table there.
Can Araceli just kind of go down this line and be like, actually, I heard that the little one's actually a bit of a scoundrel, you know? You might want to bet on her. I'm just saying. And they're like a notable, like, Windcallers are fairly obvious, and they're good omens, so...
So let me make sure I get this. So Lucy is also betting on... What is this contest? Let me get that straight. Because Lucy kind of stood up and went, you know what, we're betting on something. Everybody's like, well, we're too drunk to care what we're putting our gold towards. What is the contest we're agreeing towards here?
We're gonna fight?
We're gonna scrap, I think, yeah.
Araceli doesn't know, to be clear.
Insane
Doesn't know, doesn't care.
It's like it's the funny part. I think when Araceli starts going around like, "Oh yeah, you should bet on Naomi." Like Kane's gonna look up like, "Et too?" Like really?
So Naomi's going to be fighting this scrawny jackass that you've seen across the bar. In that case, you would probably want to talk up the other guy, because if you're betting on Naomi, you would have to split those winnings with everybody else who bets on Naomi.
That's a great point.
Well, so I didn't want to interrupt, but I think while we're trying to convince everyone to bet on me, I think she's going up to I'm like looking for people's characters' names. Up to Lucy and Kayn, and are like, okay, so how do we fix this?
She's saying that.
What? I mean, we can make it. I'm fine with losing as long as I get paid out of it. You can look all high and mighty. I don't care. I'm just here for the gold.
Whatever. You figure that out. I'm whatever. You can tell
mean,
he's like very like not.
We can do this genuinely if you want to, but I wouldn't want to hurt you.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah.
I think watching watching all of this, I'm like trying to pay attention to the other tavern goers who are coming and giving me money and trying to like keep some sort of rough track about who's betting what and stuff. You know what I mean? Nobody really needs to actually do any bookkeeping. This is a pirate tavern, for goodness sake. But I think when Amaya asks, like, how do we fix this? I just look over at her and just go, just fight dirty. I mean, how else do you think you're going to win it? But I will tell you, if I do have to split more than 50% of this pot, you're going to have to figure it out how to lose. So just, have a backup plan just in case.
Oh, the plan was to figure out how to lose beneficially, but he doesn't seem to want to do that, so I'm gonna fight dirty.
Araceli's like, who am I telling these people to... What is happening?
Because I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win.
So I'm going to tell them that you're winning.
You're going to try.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. And they just...
Araceli, I feel so bad for them.
No, they're thriving. They just want money, to be clear.
That's fair. Like,
They do not care.
One of us does, technically.
But they're also like newer to like they're from like basically what is the Texas Mexico sort of region. I'm a little uncertain what that looks like in this game, but they're like I'm new here. I just work here.
Yeah.
So you've gathered a bit of a crowd at this point. Those who aren't necessarily putting doubloons into the pot, which let's make a roll out of this. Who would like to roll? Let's just do 4d6. Who would like to roll 4d6? Whatever that is, that's how many doubloons are in the pot right now.
I can roll, I guess.
Go for it, Val.
Might be good or bad for us. Hold on.
It'd
That's
be great either way.
a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 1.
So 16. Okay. So 16 doubloons in the pot. In addition, we can say to Lucy's 1, so 17 in total. The odds are pretty 1-to-1 at this point. So whoever bet in favor of this lanky gentleman will get they'll split all of the winnings between however many people, and then vice versa for your group. So at this point, the lanky gentleman has noticed that, like, you pointed him out for some reason, and we're like, fight our scrappy little fella. So he does stand up, and he keeps standing up as you realize this guy's probably pretty close to 6'9", like beanpole thin, but just looking down. He's got a scruffy kind of like chin goatee, sort of kind of goes up a little bit to his ears, kind of a longer nose, very thin features, and he just looks down and he goes, "I'm fighting you then? I can do that."
You might have been standing behind this gentleman over here that I was actually pointing at. Once again.
You want to fight him?
You stir up.
I mean, you have a nice pot of gold. I would bet myself against you.
I'm gonna lean into Naomi. And I'm gonna, like, very quietly whisper this to her. But obviously I'm not gonna whisper because you won't be able to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you can take him?
Do I think I can take him?
What a question. Let's
Listen,
call this let's call this an accuracy roll. This is you are trying to get a toe to top sort of read on this guy and what he might be able to do.
Okay, accuracy. So the number on our scale, is that how many dice you roll?
So you're going to roll 4d6 and you're going to add your bonus to that roll. And then you're trying to hit the target number. I'm going to say for this, it's probably a 16 as well. This is probably a normal roll just to get a general read on this.
So like the 2s on our scales on the wheel, that is your bonus?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's the modifier, right? So it's
Yes.
whatever total.
This is the first time all of us are playing this game, so please
We're
enjoy the
learning
rules.
together.
Please know if you have questions. Yes, we're learning together.
That's a 19. I
Great.
got 2 6s. I don't know if that changes anything.
Very nice. The only time it really changes stuff is you get all 6s or all 1s.
Gotcha.
So, getting a read on this guy, and again, like, you're craning your neck to get up there. You can see that his hands are weathered. He has definitely been on a ship before. He's got those forearm muscles that probably indicates that he does a decent amount of manual labor. Biceps, a little, not as well defined. So he's probably a deckhand. He probably spends most of his time, hauling rope and scrubbing decks. His clothing is not very fine. This is not an officer by any means. He's got a little bit of dirt under his fingernails, a little bit of dirt on his face, and from the smell of him, he's not seen water for a little bit. He's not swaying at all, so he does seem to have some sobriety still left to him. And otherwise, he's pretty tall, which means his center of gravity is probably pretty easy to reach. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. You would reasonably be able to take an individual like this, especially if you're fighting dirty.
Yeah, I think Naomi looks up at him, looks over her shoulder at Lucy, and just smiles and winks.
Slap you on the back, and I'll turn to Kayn and be like, "Guess you're off the hook right now,
Fine by me.
but not
Number
forever.
ones.
I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket."
I think can Araceli just kind of be like, yeah, I can manipulate the wind, so That's all.
Just throwing it out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a free tidbit
Can you
to my crew.
push him over with the
What do you
wind?
need?
That'd be helpful.
You got a signal you want to give me for that? Or should I? I'll intuit it. Don't worry.
that's
No,
my signal.
perfect.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, I have a thought.
Love it. Tell me.
I'll turn to Araceli and say, you know, I think we could argue that maybe he's got to take a shot for, like, good luck right before the bout. Do you think you could find a way to maybe distract him with the wind so that I can just pour some dirty water for Naomi?
Sure, I'm great at distractions.
Trying to make him sick. I
Your
might
face
have
says otherwise. Do you not have that much confidence?
Well, I have some savvy, but
I got
I've-
faith in you.
okay. Well, I love it. Let's hope that's placed well. So I guess Araceli will go up to. I forgot this 6'9" person's name because I was too
I think
busy.
we got his name.
Yeah, we actually haven't heard it yet.
Okay, so I was too busy
so-
laughing at. Anyway,
Could be
Yes,
guessed.
please.
I'm an adult. What's this person's name? Or I guess
Um,
Araceli can go. What's your name?
He looks not as far down to you, but still a little bit, and he goes, "Hello, my name is Krusty Borson."
Krusty.
Naomi fully just starts laughing in front of him.
Araceli.
It is a family name.
Krusty is a family name?
Yes.
You can just choose to not. You
Feels
don't need one of
disrespectful.
those. Oh, okay.
Araceli's trying their best not to laugh. It's not working. But they're like, and they take him kind of by the shoulder and they kind of go, well, where I come from, we just do a little bit of, this is like just a little nice good luck wind balm for you. Just a little breeze for your crusties.
Okay.
Just, and, they have fully turned him away from like their drink.
Yeah,
He's
no,
trying
it's,
to.
What?
it's like turning a tree. It's just he takes a minute to get around, but you get there. Yeah.
And I would like to try and get a shot of like really cheap liquor for him and try to hide it in a way that I get like, I'll just call it water when really we know probably pouring wasn't great.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's-
a pirate's bar.
Yeah,
but
something
it
out of the
looks like-
spittoon or something out of the gutters. Yeah.
Oh, actually, okay.
Oh.
That I might make myself sick if I do that. So we'll just stick.
That's
with
fair. Fair enough.
Well, I was gonna say I have tequila in my inventory, which gives levels of drunkenness, which I assume is bad. I don't know what levels of drunkenness does in this game, but it's probably not good.
It's it's very similar to levels of drunkenness in the real world, appropriately. So let's look up the.
We could just give him actual booze.
Well, that
Yeah.
was my point. Yeah, like give him booze, but give you something that looks like booze but is not, so that
Yeah.
you're fighting with a clearer head. But
It could just be water. Don't make me drink sewage. It could just be water.
The drunkenness table. Yes, so there's different levels of drunkenness, sober to dead drunk. So I would say if you're going to pop some tequila in there, this is a person who's been drinking anyway. I described him as not tilting himself, but willing at least to fight a stranger. He will suffer a -1 modifier to all attacks and spells that have a target. He will be tipsy at that point.
Is that per level? Because tequila gives 4 levels.
Oh, okay. Well, then he will be blurry, and actually, I'll make him fully drunk at that point. I will already give him the warmed feature, so he will be fully drunk at that point. You reduce any courage damage taken by 2. You suffer a -3 modifier to all attacks, spells that have a target. If you move, you roll a 1d6. On a 3 to 6, you may move normally. On a 1 to 2, I get to decide where. Well, I'll decide anyway. But if any of you ever get fully drunk, I decide where you go. So that's pretty bad. A -3 modifier on all attacks. Although I do like that it makes you more courageous. You're going to take less courage damage, so it's pretty great. So yes, if you can successfully sneak this tequila into the glass, he will be fully drunk at that point.
I don't know if we're even sneaking it. I think we're just saying that we're both doing a shot for good luck before.
I see. Okay.
I'm saying
and I'm just
sneaking
drinking
just
water.
because I don't want a pirate bar
Sure.
coming after us saying we cheated.
Absolutely.
Even though, like, I'm sure that would be the norm, but
Okay.
I want that money at the end of the day.
Let's call this another savvy roll to try to convince him. We will call this is going to be easy at this point. He's been drinking anyway. You just need to hit a 13 or above.
I want to, Naomi, I'm assuming your savvy is better than mine.
Yeah, I got a 2 plus my ability stuff for rerolls.
Okay, I would like to assist Naomi then, and I'll do this by just calling out to the crowd, trying to like bolster them and be like, all right, place your final bets kind of thing. Like, you know, try to distract them by me waving money in the air or something.
Great.
I also have another. I don't know if you can use 2 skills at the same time if they're both relevant, but I have another one. It says, I'm in my element, guys. I got skills for days. You gain a reroll for any characteristic checks involving blending in, stealth, or bluffing in any context.
Yeah. I have no issue with using multiple skills. I don't remember reading something that says otherwise, and if I find out later, we'll change it later.
All right, so I get 2 rerolls on this. Reroll that. I will reroll it. Can you reroll something that you already rerolled, like the same die?
No, it can only be rerolled once. Only 3 rerolls allowed. Boy, that's hard for me to say. Only 3 rerolls allowed per 4 die, and you can only reroll 1 die once.
3, 6, 9. I have 15.
15. 15 is definitely more than 13, so yes, you convince him. Shot glasses placed down, tequila in both glasses, and he reaches down with these like elongated fingers and picks it up, and he goes, cheaters or something. And he
Cheers
shoots
or
it back.
something. It is absolutely water in my glass.
Fantastic. At that, after he downs it, there's a second where he just goes, and he starts teetering, like just really angling back and forth like a weeble wobble at you. And he goes, "So are we doing this with fists or knives or pistols?"
I can't fight without my lucky knife.
Okay. And he reaches towards a hilt and pulls out a knife. And as he does, all of the onlookers start to push the tables back. You get this nice little ring of people as he takes a slightly lower stance, and he's really wobbling. He's spinning at this point, and he's trying to do something cool with the knife, but it looks really dumb, and he like almost drops it at one point. Got it. Don't worry. Okay, here we go then, right? Let's go ahead and roll for initiative. Or I guess we have an initiative score.
Yes.
So yes, what is your initiative score?
14.
14. You will go before him. His initiative is 8. So if you would like to take your first strike here, as there's a lot of cheering going all around you. The music is still playing. This is so normal. It's just a knife fight at the gallows.
All right. Remind me how to do a knife attack.
Yeah, so this is going to be melee. So
Okay.
it's very similar. You're going to roll your 4d6. You'll add your melee, and we'll see what that looks like here.
And then I have damage here. All right.
And you're trying to beat his evasion.
And I have the knife fighter skill because of course I do.
Mhm.
Literally all of my skills are for this specific situation. You gain a reroll to any attacks with the knife. We'll use it on this. And it got worse. Well, it is what it is. So I got 12, 16, 17. Yeah, 17.
17. 17 will absolutely do it. What is your damage for that?
4 total. It was 2 base, and then I get a +2 from my fighter.
Okay, so 4 total. So on any character can make 2 actions on their turn. That is your attack. You can move, cast a spell, reload, or hold. You can hold your action if you want to do something later. So if you would like to move as well, there's not a lot of room in this kind of circle around you. It's maybe like 15 feet-ish. You are close together, with enough room to kind of like maneuver around, and he is doing a lot of moving, but it's very predictable as he's swaying. So you take a slash, and it cuts right through his shirt, gives him a nice little slash there, and he goes, "Oh, it's fine." He is going to, if there's, well, I should ask, is there anything else you would like to do for your turn?
I don't necessarily have another action unless this counts as an action. I just want to, like, since he's so tall, I feel like making him have to turn around as much as possible would save me a lot of time. So Naomi's gonna, like bob and weave and basically, like, pop up behind him. So she's behind him. Okay.
He is going to try to spin around, and he is going to see if he can take an attack on you. So this is going to be with a -4 penalty, because he already has he has a -1 already to hit. So he is going to try to beat your evasion here. So let's see what he's got with a -4. That is only an 11. What is your evasion score?
My evasion's a 14.
Okay, so he spins around wildly. It's so high above you. It's just like, it's at like a shoulder height for him. He could not have whiffed harder. He makes this like whirlwind spin and has to catch himself on his back foot as he does just like a 360, ends up facing the wrong way, and he goes, "Wait, little person, where did you go? I cannot find you to stab you."
She's like doing that thing where she's like making sure she's standing perfectly behind his head.
Yeah. Great. So let's see here. He's looking pretty rough. Like, between the alcohol in his system, his blood is a little bit thinner than it should be, and he seems to be losing it at a rate where you can like see him getting paler beneath the dirt. It is your turn, as there's even more cheering now, and you can see there's a few extra gold pieces that are being tossed in at this point.
Yeah, she's not trying to kill this guy. She's just trying to get him to yield.
Sure.
So, yeah, she'll attack again, but might not even be using the sharp end of the knife. She might just be trying to hit him to remind him that it's hurting and that he wants it to stop.
Some non-lethal damage, for sure. Go for it.
I can do math. 21.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even add my bonus yet. It was high.
That is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. What's your damage?
It would be 4 again, but yeah,
it'll be 4. Okay.
Not
it doesn't vary.
Lethal.
He had 6 health in total. So between those two, how do you just knock him over? Do you knock him out? What is the end result of what you're looking for here?
She is toying with him in a way where she's trying to be funny to the crowd and not necessarily like cruel to him. Like, she's not cutting him up. She's just trying to like be kind of funny and make him like wobble a little bit. And if she can get him down to a knee or something like that, then she just does the dramatic like knife out in his direction, like waiting for him to say that he's done.
Great. Yes, he, like, almost like a soft wind blows, and he just topples over and hits the ground so hard, and just kind of reaches his hand up as his face is smushed against the ground, just starts waving. I win, I think.
Not quite. And she high fives him.
At this point, you hear a voice kind of rising above the din. That's enough! Enough! Move apart now! Enough of this! You're going to break something or each other! And kind of splitting through the crowd, you see the bartender as he is pushing through. And he walks over at all of you. Well, I hope you're proud of yourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
It was a good show, at least, yeah.
Show us over. He's like waving everybody away. And you see a couple of people like reaching for the gold. He goes, no, you lost. Go on, get. And he brings over a set of drinks to your table. You would know that this is Captain Baldric Messer, who was at one time, he's now the owner and proprietor of the Gallows, but still, credits himself as captain of the Nightcaller. He is an older gentleman, tanned, kind of leathered, cracked skin, and he's dressed slightly more decent than everybody else. Still has rolled up sleeves as a man who has worked, the kind of weathered hands, the gnarled knuckles, but you know that he has not been to sea for several years now. It's like the Gallows is his retirement, where he gets to kind of keep the peace more than anything else. And while he's not a high member of the Brethren Court, owning the Gallows and being the person who has the notice board kind of makes him this important figure. So he brings over a series of mugs to you and sits down next to you all. So, boredom, is it? Well, I understand. Not looking to go and be enterprising out there in the Devil's Triangle? I don't really blame you.
I seem to be doing pretty alright here.
Yes, you are taking out some of the Colling's herd, taking out the weakest in the bar. Oh, so impressive. Listen, work will come in soon.
While he's talking, I'm breaking up the winnings into 4, and one of those 4s I'm like cutting into half, and I'm pushing that half towards him.
Yes. Well, at least you're paying your tab. That is better than many of the other fellows in here. I am sure that the court will have work soon. I believe that we have been hesitant, reticent to send out any additional ships until some of the previous voyages return. But I believe that they should be back, well, any day now. I know that the Merciless should be returning here relatively soon. And hopefully pay a voyage to her. So, speaking of ships, have you all named your sad little vessel yet?
The Merciless is a nice name. Unfortunately, that's already taken, isn't it?
It is, and it is bad luck to name your ship after someone else's. It's even worse luck to sail under a nameless ship.
Oh, but it's not nameless. We're calling that the placeholder for now.
It's a placeholder.
Yeah.
It is a place that holds things.
Yes, I suppose that is true. Well, I'm going to put that in my notes.
I was going to say the Forbidden, but they overruled me on that.
I don't hate
So
that, but
edgy.
yeah.
It evokes power. What do you not understand about that?
So you have to tread that very thin line between edgelord and impressive.
Whatever.
Well, in the meantime, while you are sitting around, please do not damage any of my furniture. We have not gotten supplies in, and we do not have a restock for at least a month now. Rumor has it that the Devil's Triangle has been particularly unfriendly these days, but perhaps it is a good thing that you are staying ashore. I have other things to attend to, and I hope you all have fair winds and follow. You see his eyes kind of like his pupils dilate just a little bit, and he starts looking out towards the horizon a little bit. Looking out to sea, following his gaze, you would see that where it was a very clear sky before, there are dark clouds now that are seem to be actually pursuing a ship. Sails full of wind, barreling towards the shore, and he kind of narrows his eyes a little bit. Well, you see what I was saying? It is a merciless there. We should have work very soon. In fact, as it seems as if she is not slowing down. Why is she not slowing down? Go ahead and give me an accuracy roll. That could be for everybody.
Everybody.
Is that
Okay.
just 4d6?
Yeah, be 46 plus your accuracy check.
16, I think, if I did math right, which I think I did. Yeah.
Great.
I also
Yeah.
have
Well-
16.
Okay. All right. And Dax, I'm sorry, what was Lucy's?
19.
19. Okay. To everyone except for Lucy, this is a pretty standard, pretty standard looking ship. It is moving towards the shore. We'll probably drop anchor soon. Again, the sails seem to be full. It seems to be on a proper heading. Lucy, for you clock that there is something wrong about this. It's maybe your captain's intuition. It's maybe something that like you feel kind of in your gut. As you note that this ship is coming into port way too fast. It has all of its sails fully unsheathed. And at this point, if you were captaining the ship, this is a brigantine. You all have a sloop. It's a slightly smaller ship. This is heftier. It's bulkier. It's meant to have better defenses. It's not meant to travel necessarily as fast as maybe smaller ships do. But this thing is going full bore, and it is far too close. If they drop anchor right now, they might actually break the chain, if not rip apart part of the ship with the anchor. And your concerns are only confirmed as the ship is headed straight for a small fishing boat. And there's nothing any of you can do as that brigantine rips directly through the middle of that fishing boat. You can see from your far vantage, there are people who flee off of the ship just as it splits apart, just absolutely being brought to kindling, as the ship has not even slowed at this point and is headed directly for the shore, directly for the docks. Is there anything any of you would like to do?
And Araceli, I guess this is a Windcaller question. So I have
Mhm.
Summon Winds as an ability, right?
Mhm.
How far away is this from the shore? Like, can they try to basically slow it down with, like, get the wind to get it to go slower?
You could definitely try it. This thing is still far enough out, but is getting closer by the moment. You're relatively close to the shore yourself. You could try to run out to the beach, to the docks themselves, and see if you could slow this down. But it is going to be a difficult difficulty check. Difficult check. There you go. So I'm going to say that this is going to be very hard to do. So it'll need to be a 25 or higher.
Oh, cool, great. Okay, how do spell work? I guess for my edification and also everyone else's. I'll pretend this is a learning moment.
Yeah, it is a learning. It absolutely is. You don't have to pretend. What spell are you looking to use?
Summon Winds.
Summon wind. Okay, so let's see here. Wind.
I think this only makes
There we go.
the thing
There we
go
go.
faster, but I figured you could kind of case something goes
Yeah, I
forward.
mean, we can absolutely use it in the reverse. So let's cast number 8. You whisper to the winds, gesturing sails, flowing movement, blah, blah, blah. Move your ship as if it has one level of wind faster. Okay. I will say, this should just be as is, but because this is an abjure type spell and we're using this kind of out of its normal usage, let's make this an abjure roll. So that is what we're looking to hit for. That is the 25 for your abjure.
And because I'm a Windcaller, I get +2 to abjure spells.
I believe that's correct.
Cool. So I automatically have a 5 because my abjure is 3. I'm just making sure I understand that.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, for
Here's
this roll,
hoping
yeah.
I get. Oh no, wait. I have to get a 6 on all. I just did math in my head. I have to get a 6 on all of these, don't I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Be good to have some nudges and some rerolls for us to use.
And head goes
Would
towards a
be
great
great.
cause.
Wink, wink.
Wink,
Someone
wink,
wants
nudge,
to-
nudge.
help me be a cool wind badass. That'd be great.
I mean, you already all are a cool wind badass.
Even more of a cool wind
Yes.
badass.
Well, that is 1 6 of 5 and 2 4s. So not a terrible, but
But not what you needed.
no.
Okay. So you have rolled your die. You are going to lose courage, equal to your die roll. And let's see. Spells casted. Okay. So yes, this is a difficult use of the spell. Typically, the spell is relatively easy to cast because you're filling the sails of a ship that you are on. You are far from shore, or you're far from the ship, I should say. You're far from the ship, you're not on it, and you're trying to push this thing backwards. You're trying to push these sails in a counterintuitive way. So you watch as the wind emits from your body. You send out this gust towards it, but something seems to repel the wind. The ship itself seems to split the wind as it does the waves before it. And there's a term that sailors use for ships that are really cutting through the water. The ship is called having a bone in her teeth, because it's like a dog where the water is white capping across the front of the bow, and this ship is every bit of that. So it is splitting its way towards you. It is heading towards the dock. Araceli, standing on the docks themselves, you realize that you are in the line of fire of this thing as it is barreling towards you. You will need to run away unless you are going to try to do anything else that is close to this ship.
Nope, that didn't work. Just kidding. Farewell.
Okay, great. So as you are running away, you can hear the boards of the dock splitting behind you as this ship is crashing through everything. It is crashing through wood and nail, and it is splitting its way further and further towards the sands. It knocks into other ships along the way. You can hear the splitting of masts and the tearing of sails. You can hear sailors screaming all around you, and then the crunching kind of compression noise of sand as this thing breaks through the docks and beaches itself, half in the surf and half on the sand. And you can see that even as it sits there, you can hear the groaning of wood as the wind in the sails push it ever forward. You can, as you look back, you can see it inching its way further and further into the sand. All of this twisted, darkened wood, and these sails that just don't seem to know when to stop. What would you all like to do?
You mentioned there were some dark clouds that were following the Merciless, right?
Yes, and those have followed with it. So you can hear thunder roiling above. It has gone from this beautiful blue sky day to overcast. Everything has a greenish tinge to it now, of those sickly tornado clouds is how I'm going to describe them, being from the Midwest. There's a certain kind of connection that green clouds have to storms, and this ship seems to either have brought with it or been followed by a nasty level of storms, and rain starts to patter down. You can see that on the side of the ship, it is carved in where it says "The Merciless" on it, and that's at least what you all get from your vantage point here on the sands. But more and more people are starting to approach the ship. And as they do, you can see Captain Messer runs out and puts his hands in front of everyone. Everyone stand back. Do not get close to this.
Naomi's like, wow, that's crazy. And when everyone's looking at the ship, is going to take the shares that were on the table that were being split. Just any that weren't taken, takes them.
Oh, sorry, I didn't make that clear. I
Wow,
split the
crazy.
4, gave 1 to each of you, and then out of my share paid the bartender.
Yeah, I had assumed that they were just kind of split on the table, and then all this started happening,
Well,
so...
so what's saying is that if the other 2 didn't claim it, you're taking theirs.
Oh, yeah.
is what you're saying.
Araceli took theirs immediately.
Yeah.
Money. They love money.
Kane knows better than to leave money around Naomi, so
Yeah, I really appreciate your commitment to the scoundrel role. It's really great.
So
Oh, that's crazy.
can we? I mean, obviously, Eldritch terror is a real thing that we live day to day.
Sure.
How easy is it for us to tell if this storm is Eldritch related, or if it's just a really bad natural storm?
actually I was gonna ask a similar question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
Go ahead.
Angry.
Let's see. This could be a number of roles. So I leave it to you which skill you would like to use, because we can consider this seafaring. You have spent enough time on the ocean that you know what a natural storm and an eldritch storm look like. We could call this studies if you have read about how to identify eldritch storms. We could call this harness, or even abjure if you're trying to make a magical connection to it. Or we could even consider this accuracy if you were just trying to take in sensory information about this thing.
And we can all roll this if we want.
You are all welcome to roll this, absolutely.
Okay.
And depending on what you roll, there's going to be other information that you will garner from this entire situation. But we're going to say that this is you getting a read on everything that just happened.
Okay.
So if you want to tell me what you're going to roll, and then your number.
Are you going to tell us what the target number is, or are we going to have to just wait and see?
We're not going to set it necessarily a target for this. The higher you roll, the more information you might get from this.
Got
So
it.
you're going to get something regardless of what you roll, unless it's a critical failure. But the higher you roll, the more information you will gain.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm going to go with harness, and that leaves me with a 17.
Okay. All right. Well, is anybody else going to use harness?
Me.
Okay. What was your roll, Abhishek?
I managed to, if I'm mathing correctly, 23.
Nice.
23. Great. So let's start with the harness rolls. For those of you that are trying to tap into the Eldritch magics and trying to understand, is this storm being naturally produced, or is it being drawn by some sort of otherworldly force? You're definitely leaning towards the otherworldly force. The way that this thing seems to be haunting this ship and spreading from it, and the green tinge of it, the way that the thunder rolls, the way the rain feels, almost like icy, unnaturally cold given this very Caribbean summer day. Everything about this screams dark magic. The screams occult. And as you look up towards the sky, you can see that the clouds are roiling. They're almost spinning in certain spots, hurricane-like, but you don't feel the effects of any of them. It's just like they're almost tentacularly spinning within themselves. The other thing that you pick up with your harness roll is that this ship, the darkened wood of it that is now being rain pattered, is covered in markings that you didn't spot at first, but almost every inch of wood and board that you can see as you are standing on ground level looking up this brigantine there are symbols that are etched into it, and Kayn would be the one to note that these are eldritch symbols.
Would they happen to be in a specific language, like Deep One?
Yeah, actually, they would be in Deep One. Is that a language you know?
That is, thanks to my multilingual skill. So yeah.
Yeah. Great. You can't necessarily read them all from here, but you do recognize several of them. So, like I said, Messer is kind of holding everybody back right now, but if that's something you want to investigate here in a minute, we absolutely could do that. In the meantime, Naomi, Araceli, what would you all like to roll?
I was gonna do Abjure, because that's what I'm strongest
Great.
at.
Yeah, go for it.
It's gonna do math. 2 6s and a 4 and a 1, so that's what, 15?
Yeah,
Plus-
2 6s, that's 12, so 16, 17.
Plus 5.
Oh, so 21,
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
With Abjure, you make the connection again, much like Kayn did, that these are Eldritch symbols.
Oh, and
but
I also have multilingual.
Perfect.
Same skill.
You would know then, just from the sigil layout of these, that these are protective runes. These are protective glyphs that have been carved all over this ship. Again, every inch of it, even the external, you can see like barnacles have been scraped off of the hull to fit on protective runes towards the hull of the ship. So it strikes you as odd. You've not really seen a ship like this before. And then Amaya, what about Naomi?
I rolled accuracy for Naomi. That's more like the observant kind of thing,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah. She doesn't really do the magic, doesn't do the language stuff. She's despite her everything on the outside, she's a details person. And so she's looking for like small details that might connect the dots of what's going on here. Smaller, like
Sure.
You're describing things on the surface of the ship. She's ignoring the runes. She doesn't know what those are. Also looking out for like the people on the ship.
Yeah.
If they've been like poking their heads out, and if there's anything up with them.
Yeah, what was your roll?
I got a 16.
16, great. Much to your question, you don't see anyone. There is nobody on board. No, you didn't see anybody jump off. There's nobody calling for help. This ship is dead silent when it comes to voices, but what you pick up is this thrumming noise of wind battering these sails. And as you look up, one of the main sails actually splits almost directly down the middle. But even as it does, you see wind still propelling it, as if the tear wasn't even there. The sails are being pushed to such an extreme where the ship cannot move anymore, that the sails are starting to rip and split, and yet wind still pushes them, still motivates them forward, until you're watching as you can hear a creaking from the mizzen mast, the largest, thickest mast, and like tree trunk-esque, you hear it start to split and groan, and you can see as there are fracture lines extending upwards in it, and you see the top part of the mizzenmast splits and falls, and then as it does, the top sail also splits and falls until all of the sails on this ship, and again they're falling off to the side, so the crowd is parting as these, again, large logs, these tree-sized pieces of wood, are just tumbling down and splitting onto the sand and creating all of this fragmentation. And only when those sails have all collapsed downwards does the groaning of the wood of the ship, does the inching movement of it into the sand, pushing itself ever deeper into the soil itself. Only then does that stop.
It was like Windcaller but evil.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Bad. It's very bad. Probably.
Let's go ahead and pause there. Let's take our break. When we come back, we will have more investigation into this ship. and the mystery of the merciless. Stick around. Please feel free to donate towards Lambda Legal. It is a fantastic organization, and you can impact this game with your donations. Please check out our wonderful affiliates, and also something I should have said at the top, but I'm going to say now, we're doing a giveaway for every episode of this series. The wonderful folks at Black Cats Gaming, James Barry, the game creator, have been fantastic enough to send us 4 codes for Cursed Captains of Cthulhu PDFs, completely free. So you can enter to win one of those. We're going to start the giveaway, and we will end the giveaway once we are like wrapping up this episode. So you can put in Cursed in chat and enter to win a PDF code for Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, should you want to play this game with you and yours. Stick around, folks. We'll be back in probably about 10. Vast and welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, the premiere of Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. Let's jump back into things, but real quick before we do, I should say that we have a giveaway currently going on. This is for a free PDF of Cursed Captains of Cthulhu, courtesy Black Cats Gaming. Great company. The game creator, James, was incredible when we chatted about this game. So you can enter to win currently in chat with hashtag cursed or # cursed if you're that old. Octothorpe cursed if you're that kind of nerd. So you can put that in chat. We are going to announce the winner of the giveaway at the end of stream. So yes, and we're going to do a giveaway. We have 4 copies, so 1 copy per episode of this game. So this will not be your last chance to win one. Okay, so you all stand on the beach. What was previously a beautiful blue sky day with golden sand beneath your feet has turned into a green and gray tinged pseudo nightmare. There have been ships broken apart, cast asunder. The docks are beyond disrepair at this point, and the Merciless, a ship that was due back in port, has come back to port, but in unpleasant fashion, as it has barreled through fishing vessels. It has broken apart full-on sailing vessels, and has lodged itself firmly in the sand as it is run aground on the beach before you. You have determined that through a variety of checks that there does not appear to be anybody immediately on board. The sails have broken. The ship itself, the wood of the ship has been carved thoroughly with abjuration glyphs of deep speech, and that is what you have picked up so far. As the masts have broken and the ship stops lurching forward, that is when Captain Messer lowers his hands, and even as he does, he turns back to look at it. There's concern in his weathered eyes. Nobody else really goes to move towards it. He doesn't need to hold anybody back anymore, as this has apparently been unsettling enough, but there is a lot of whispering, a lot of hushed voices that are turning into more of a din as everybody is saying something. What would you all like to do?
Well, Kane's gonna make a beeline for the glyphs to study them more. It's like probably the most interesting thing that has happened today, I think, for him. So, yeah, he's going right for that.
Great. So we'll carry over your role from before. You were able to recognize them as deep speech. Again, you recognize them as now as you're getting closer as protective magic. This is the kind of magic that utilizes the occultism of deep ones, of the old ones, but in a way that also kind of repels them. It's using hellish glyphs to ward off devils and demons. So somebody has diligently carved these in to, again, every board, every single plank that this ship is comprised of has sigils, glyphs, symbols. You can see the tentacular symbols that are often associated with the Great Old One Cthulhu. You can see symbols of Dagon. You can see symbols of a variety of Old Ones that have kind of been invoked to repel anything that might be lesser. They don't necessarily spell anything out directly. It's just, it's the equivalent of caution signs, stop signs, warning signs. Like, you're just getting that if you were to translate, it would be, forbidden, revoke, go away, fuck off.
Touch, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But I think he probably just will be looking around. I think even just noting them down to he'd be getting pencil rubbings and sketches of everything, just going around looking at these things, just because magic stuff, that's what gets him going.
Yeah. While you're doing that, why don't you go ahead and give me an accuracy roll as well, just as you're visually moving about.
Okay. Accuracy. Great. What was that? Actually, it's a pretty decent roll. 12, 15, 20, 21 total.
Great. In that case, you are going to note that as you're looking around, studying these, jotting them down in your notebook, there's a bit of the ship that sticks out a little bit, literally sticks out. At first you wonder if it might just be a loose deck nail, as it does appear to be metallic and it does appear to be black, but even in this dimming light that you are in with these clouds roiling above and the rain pattering down, as you look at it, you see a shimmer of metallic green kind of ripple across it. Not because of the way you're moving, almost like there's an energy that's channeled through it. It's very small, it's angular, and it seems to be lodged into the hull of the ship as you're walking around it.
Okay, yeah. Definitely make note of that. Anything else he would want to do before passing it off? I don't think he would do anything else, honestly. So
okay. So yeah, noting that. Anything from anyone else?
I think Araceli's just gonna look at Lucy like, Captain.
Are you just side-eyeing me?
Yeah, you got orders? Respectfully.
I think, yeah. The respectful side, you have a job to do. I think this whole time, I've been standing there with my hands on my hips, just kind of watching all this going on. And I mean, I've recognized that there's glyphs. I might not know all the details like Kayn notices, or even Araceli, but I know that there's symbols, and I'm watching all this happen. The ship finally stops, and I think it is at that point when I see Messer kind of relent a little bit, I'll give a very emphatic nod, and then I will turn to the rest and say, all right, if you want your pay, gotta go investigate. And just putting this, cross off the merciless off the list. I don't care if it's no longer taken, it's clearly bad luck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Naomi wants to board quickly because then she gets first dibs in her eyes of what's on there.
This cursed ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will call out to Messer that we're gonna check for survivors and just take a quick look around the ship.
Yep, survivors and stuff. She's gone.
You can tell, no checks needed. He's thrown a little bit, but this is the kind of ship that does have the footholds kind of carved into the side of it instead of an external ladder that's lowered. So it is easy enough to climb your way up, even as it has rolled somewhat. But he looks back as you say this, as you're walking towards it. You are the only ones walking towards it. And he kind of leans forward a little bit. He goes, "You're absolutely sure this ship is clearly cursed?" I would say it's your funeral, but I worry that there is worse on boards and death.
I'll stop. Well, think of it this way. I mean, you even said yourself that, the ocean is cursed and it's dangerous out there, so why not take danger that's on land? We can jump right off the ship if we need be. And besides, if there are survivors on board, we get hold of credit. And I'll, keep going.
Well, I was going to challenge your logic, but you're not listening anyway, so that's fine.
No,
I'm going to get the brethren caught. And he just starts moving. All right, everyone. Again, nothing to see. Oh, it's just literally something to see here, but go away anyway. You all are able to climb on board the Merciless. It is tilting a little to the side, but still stable enough that you're not going to slide too much as you're moving along. The mizzenmast has splintered about 6 feet up, so it still holds where it is. You can see that a few barrels, as you get onto the main deck, a few of the barrels have broken loose from their chains and have rolled off to the tilted side, the lowered side. You don't see anybody around. That is just base level. Let's go ahead and do some more checks here for what else you could see. So some more accuracy checks, please.
Okay. And this time it's all accuracy, right?
Yeah, this is just going to be what you're looking around for, unless you're trying to investigate anything else specifically. If you're trying to look at the runes or anywhere else you'd like to go, this is just general vibes. What you're peeping.
Do you want to go see if I can find the source of the wind? The wind. I think Araceli's gonna be like, that. I want to look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's actually. So instead, let's make that a harness check for Araceli.
No, can it be an abjure? Does it have to be harness?
It could be an abjure. That's fine.
Okay, good. Thank you. Do I have a 0 in harness? Maybe.
You sound sad enough that sure, why not?
Thank you for the pity.
Yeah, no, anytime.
That is. This is 12, 13 plus 5. 13.
18.
So 18?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. There is. And the masts are broken. You don't feel any wind immediately, but you can see that where some of the mast had splintered and some of the sail was left kind of just torn about, you can see that there is a little bit of plank that still has sail attached to it, and it still seems to be full of wind as it's sliding this piece of wood across the deck and just getting stuck on the gunnel, on the railing around the ship. It can't really go anywhere, but it is trying to propel itself forward without any wind that you can immediately feel.
Would I be able to kind of understand the nature of that?
It really seemed, that's a pretty high roll that you got. It really seems like these sails have been enchanted by probably a similar magic to what you use. That you do know that there are certain enchantments, certain even curses that can be placed on material objects to imbue them with a magical sense. You also have heard that there are certain spells that can be placed on sails of just listen, we don't want to worry about doldrums, we don't want to worry about wind or swells, we just want to keep going as fast as we can. And it really seems like these sails were imbued with that kind of magic, as even torn apart, no natural wind, they seem to be ever full.
Does that give me a hint of was this used for good or malicious purposes, basically? Did somebody imbue that just to get them where they needed to go, or did someone do this to wreck them? Does that make sense?
It really could have been either. This is like putting a brick on the accelerator of a vehicle. It's going to keep driving. As long as you're turning the wheel, it's not really a problem. As long as there's somebody to take the brick off of the pedal, it's not an issue. But as you're looking around and you don't see anybody at the helm, you don't see anybody here to steer, navigate, or otherwise maneuver this ship, that can be a pretty dangerous thing of just something going full speed without intended direction.
I think Araceli is gonna just call out to Lucy like, well, this is fucked.
Okay, but what level of fucked are we talking about? Are we talking about like, oh, you know, shite on a cracker? Or are we talking about Cthulhu himself?
That's a great question.
I'm not
dear.
paying you to give guesses, Araceli. I'm paying you to get me answers.
On a scale of shite on a cracker to Cthulhu, where are we?
Where are we?
I would say closer to the Cthulhu end of the scale.
Oh. Fan-bloody-tastic.
You should
Naomi
probably-
is immediately heading for wherever is most likely that people would have stored their valuables. So that would be
Oh my
like
God.
storage or cabins, like crew quarters, that type of thing.
Sure.
check if
And I
any bot is
got
cursed.
not
Yep.
being very cautious, which is average for her. And I got a 17 on accuracy.
Great. In that case, as you were looking around, you would also spot some of these little bits of greenish, shimmering, otherwise black, like onyx black, but the shimmer is like this lime green to them. Bits of metal. You at least assume that it's metal with the sheen coming off of it, that are stuck. You don't see them. You don't seem to think they're intentional. They're placed here and there. They seem to be lodged into the wood as if something was pierced into the wood. But also, as you are walking around, this is a brigantine, so you have your forecastle, which is the raised part of the bow of the front part. You have the quarterdeck, which is the raised part where the sublevel of the quarterdeck, the top part would be the helm, where the wheel is, and you can see that there's nobody there. The bottom part has a door to the captain's quarters, and then you also have the hold and the entry to the hold, which is a stairway that leads down. You know that that's where most of the crew would reside, and probably would have hammocks as well as their personal footlockers down there as well. But anything that's really valuable, you're probably going to find either in the hold, in the very bottom of the ship, or you're going to find it in the captain's quarters. So which one would you like to do first?
We go captain's quarters first.
Great. You walk towards the captain's quarters and you find that the knob turns and it's not locked, but there is resistance on the other side of the door. You hear the sound of wood scraping on wood, as it seems that there has been some sort of barricade placed on the other side of the door. And you hear a voice say, "No! No, please!" from the inside.
Of course, I find the door with a person in it. Damn it.
What a headache.
There's like a small part of her that's like, I could just go to the hold. But she's like, no, fine. Knock knock.
There's silence for a second. And then you hear, "Who's there?"
Not Cthulhu. It's your lucky
Not
day.
Cthulhu who?
Oh, not Cthulhu. You're saved. Yay!
You just hear like coughing on the other side of the door. "If you say so."
Who's there on your end? This is the part where you do a joke.
"Oh, my name's Georgie." No, that wasn't the joke.
Sorry.
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
Is it R?
No, everybody thinks it's R, but any true pirate's love is the sea.
That's a good one.
Thanks. I'm a bit incapacitated, as it were, and I apologize that I barricaded the door, but if you push hard enough, I'm sure it's going to go. I was really expecting just to die horribly, so I apologize, I'm a bit surprised.
on the beach. So I think you're good from the horrors of the sea, at least from my perspective.
The beach of where?
Checks notes. Where are we?
Yeah, you're at the seat of the Brethren Court.
The Brethren Court.
Oh, I never thought I'd be back there.
Specifically the near the gallows. Not those ones. The other one.
The other ones, sure.
So do you just want me to break this down?
If you can, are you particularly strong?
Let's find
Okay.
out.
Not an answer, still an answer.
You know what? This is my answer. She's gonna go for it, and if she fails, it's gonna be really embarrassing.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's call this a brawn roll.
Cool. Yeah, I have a 1 in brawn, which is only 1 less than a 2, so...
And just for the sake of things, you are on the island of Nassau, but this is the seat of the Brethren Court is like the whole island is Nassau, but this is like the main portion where this town is.
That's a 9.
Okay. Cool. Okay, you're only going to take 1 point of damage as you slam into this door. There's a lot of ways to open a locked door. Very few of them are effective. And you unfortunately don't choose a very efficacious one. You slam full shoulder into it, and the door wins. So you bounce off of it and hit the deck hard as the door does not seem to budge at all. And you hear a voice inside go, "That was embarrassing."
So I have a question.
Please.
So I was originally going to go to the captain's quarters anyway and like check for like, logs and stuff. So can I say that I show up right before Naomi charges into the store and I'm just standing I'm standing there
Araceli's right there
behind
with
her.
Lucy, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And
a
I
problem
just stand and I
everybody sees.
watch.
Yes.
We all witnessed this, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, even Kayn who came up to the ship too. So it was like, yeah.
Yeah, there's even a bird that's just sitting on the gunnel that just shakes its head. Just a very disappointed pelican. Yes, you woke up as your scoundrel, as Naomi, slams against the deck. And the captain's quarters.
Araceli, that was embarrassing. Why'd you do that?
Araceli just bends down and pats Naomi on the head. Like, that was an attempt.
Oh, okay. I do
kinda
lockpicks, okay?
What kind of hinges are on the door?
They are iron hinges. They are
can
bolted
I,
from the outside.
Nick out the
Oh,
nail?
yeah, you want to do the
hinge
double barrel
hinges.
hinge? Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could reference Pirates of the Caribbean as much as we want. Absolutely, you can absolutely do that.
So I think when Naomi is standing there, like maybe you're holding your shoulder a little bit, trying to gather some of your dignity. I'm just gonna walk up, just look at you, pull out my cutlass, and just start messing with the nail. and
I
shake it
have
out.
lockpicks.
And you already tried your way. Now we try mine.
Let's call this a. We could call this savvy or accuracy. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna use one of my re-rolls. Thank you very much for the dono for that. Ah, that's much better. 21.
Oh yeah. The pins fall solidly out, and the door is left essentially off its hinges. You're able to set it aside very, very easily, and within you can see a darkened captain's quarters. Little bits of dust, little motes of dust kind of float in the air. There's no lantern light or anything like that. A few windows, especially towards the aft of the ship, that stream a little bit of that greenish light in. There is a captain's desk that has been placed against the door, as well as a mattress, a few chairs that have been stacked up. You can see that there is a broom handle which has been lodged under the lip of the desk to try to like angle it just to keep it from moving any more than it otherwise would. And that is what kind of blocks your view for the most part. However, looking through the chairs, kind of around the mattress a little bit, you can see that there is a humanoid figure towards the back of this room sitting on the floor.
Permission to come in, Captain?
I'm not the captain, and you can do whatever you like.
Well, then why the fuck are you in here?
Noted.
It was a place that I could barricade, and they were everywhere.
They.
I'm gonna give the Araceli side eye to the rest of my crew.
Good technique.
And you hear them cough a little bit more. I'm not going to do that in the microphone, so just
Thank you.
know that they're doing it. Yeah, for sure.
Is the desk easily movable? Like, can we, even if there's at least two of us, like just push it out of the way enough to get through the door?
Yeah, now that you're not just like pushing it with the door itself, and you can reach over, grab the broom handle from under the lip of it, and kind of push the mattress aside, like everything just kind of, the chairs collapse to the side. The desk is heavier. It's not really meant to move as much because it's on a ship, but you are able to scoot it for the most part out of the way and get enough of a walking path for your crew to move into the room.
Naomi's immediately like checking drawers and stuff, just looking for anything grabbable, valuable.
Yeah, looking through the drawers of the desk, you would find a captain's log. You would also
That's
find
juicy.
a gold pocket watch that is in there as well, and a half full, we're going to be optimistic, half full bottle of brandy.
Before Naomi takes any of that, can Araceli just like grab her hand for a second and be like, don't you want to be sure this stuff isn't going to harm you first?
Are you getting bad vibes?
I don't know, am I? I have detect magic, so can I use that before our scoundrel
Sure.
gets in danger?
Sure. So, detect magic. Let's see.
I also have cleansing hands, but I didn't want to use that because that gets the positive and the negative.
Mhm.
And I don't want to get rid of the positives unless, you know.
Focus to reach out your mind. A diaphanous third eye ringed in purple briefly flares on your forehead. Okay, you're aware of any magic in the area. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do your casting roll. So your target number is 8 for this.
And that's just Abjure, right?
Mhm.
Thank goodness.
Well, it's a studies roll. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
This is a studies type of magic.
That's fine. I also focused on that. That's a 14.
Okay, that beats the 8. The diaphanous third purple eye briefly flares, and your eyes glaze over with what color do you think Araceli's magic is? She is a Windcaller. She doesn't necessarily subscribe as much to the old one kind of stuff. If she had a coloration to her magic, what do you think it would be?
Probably either like a pale blue with this sort of very beautiful green and gold sort of interwoven there.
Great. You blink and your eyes are that bluish, greenish gold, like flecks of gold in them, completely glazed over. And this place, visually to you, it's like a flashbang. It is so bright with magic in here, as you can see internally here. Again, much like the outside of the ship, every board has been carved with abjuration magic. And all of these sigils, all these runes are glowing so brightly where the room now seems fully illuminated. And almost like in a reverse sort of heat vision, that all is flaring up as what would be considered hot. And then in the corner, you can see that there is this pocket of what would be cold that is human shaped. However, flaring from what would be their chest, you can see a little pinpoint of magic that, almost like roots of a tree, seems to be stretching outwards, almost like the veins in a person stretching out into the humanoid form. You don't notice anything else. Like, again, it's so just well illuminated with all of the sigils and everything. We could say, as you look around, since you're kind of in between the door and not the door, you also notice, because there's different colorations to magic, those little bits of metal that have been sticking out here and there, those flare with a slightly different color from all of the runes. And you can note that there are dozens of them just sporadically spotting the ship.
Is the stuff that Naomi's going for good? Or will it harm?
It doesn't seem to have any magical effect to it. It does not flare in any specific way.
Okay.
The watch seems fine. The bottle's probably fine. You don't see a glass, so, somebody was probably drinking out of it. Just, out of the bottle itself.
Kind of like takes their hand off of Naomi, like, have fun. And goes up to, is it Georgie?
Georgie, yeah.
Pokes exactly where that light is coming from.
You can see that Georgie, as the detect magic kind of blink and your eyes go back to normal. Georgie is a slightly well-built, femme-presenting redhead. She has braided hair that comes down on one side, freckles. She's very, very pale, and that's not a slight against gingers. She's had a lot of blood loss. As you can see that there is one of those pieces of metal is lodged just above where her heart would be. And you can see that, like, as she has pulled her tunic slightly to the side, there are those veins that you saw before, these blackened lines, again, like roots of a tree, extending outwards from this wound. And she looks up to you with these green eyes that have yellowed slightly in the whites, and again coughs a little bit. My hero.
Isn't normally how I like to look at a beautiful person's chest, but what's up with that?
A bit of misfortune.
Care to elaborate?
I don't. Anytime I get more specific, it gets worse.
Bad sign. That's a red flag. She's like across the room, like looking through stuff.
I was gonna say, I just fully imagine Naomi like taking everything
Oh,
that's
yeah.
bolted to the floor. I think Araceli is just gonna look at Lucy like, this is above my pay grade. I just work here.
Is this something that maybe we've seen or heard of? Because I mean, like, historically, dysentery, scurvy, things would be that people would know about, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Is this type of wound, this eldritch infection, as it were, is that something that maybe we've even heard rumors
It's a Cthulhu scurvy.
Yeah, it's a Cthulhu scurvy.
Cthulhu.
No amount of lime is fixing that, though.
Cthulhu, yeah.
Cthulhu.
Is it eldritch dysentery?
Yeah, it's weird. You have to eat
Dysentery?
pomegranates to get rid of that one. It's wild. Yeah, get your vitamin C. The C stands for Cthulhu. Yeah. So I do think that curses are absolutely a thing. This definitely seems like a curse that has been placed on this person. And even as you're looking, the veins are extending just like ever so slightly. And her arms are down to her side. She doesn't really seem to be, making too much effort to move. I'm worried that I'm not too much longer for this world.
I'll look down and I'll place a palm on the hilt of my cutlass and say, "Would you like me to ease your passing?"
Hold that thought. Can I?
You're good, Val. You're good. Go
Oh,
ahead.
1 second. No. Like Araceli's like, no. Yes. I agree. But can I do the cleansing hands on it? Can I try to dispel the magic of it? Is that something
Yeah,
I can
let's take a look at cleansing hands real quick.
do? Araceli's whole thing is just, can I magic it? And the answer half the time is yes, but you're gonna fail it. So good luck.
Do it.
Do it.
You have that reroll too.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, that's not what I need. There we go. Okay, casting number is 10. It is abjure. Cross your hands over each other, make a cutting motion towards your target. Motes of orange light follow the slash movement, wrap themselves around the target. Sudden flash, any magic, blah, blah. You may cast a spell on any target size, bloated or smaller. Also, the size categories in this game are disgusting because they're bloated is the next one up from what is essentially like medium. If cast, the target loses all spell effects currently affecting it, positive and negative.
I cast it on the metal thingy.
Okay. Yes. I am going to increase the difficulty because this is affecting a specific cursed item. So I am going to say that this is going to be a difficulty of 20. But yes, this would be an abjure roll. It is.
Okay, I get a nudge for that as well because I took the other skill I took was something abjuration. Basically, like it gives it a nudge. What was it
I
called?
think it's focused abjuration.
Focus abjuration. Yes, thank you.
So I took the other one, focus harnessing.
Me and Kayn are just like handshakes, and we went the exact same magic builds, but in the two different types. Yeah. All right. I'm scared. Oh, I'm not scared. Just kidding. That's 2 6s and 2 5s plus the 5 for my abjure.
27.
Okay. Yeah, that's
That's
incredible.
Great. I
Okay.
love that. I'm keeping these D6s.
In that case, you place your hand over the wound. You watch as you are able to channel this magic. Placing your hand there, you see those bands wrap around Georgie, and you watch this kind of healing magic seem to rescind some of those veins back into the wound, and you can feel this piece of metal, this shard of metal, exiting and moving towards your hands. And that's a good thing for a moment. But as your hand presses into it, you feel it pressing the piece of metal into your hand. And you start to feel these little bits of like thorny spikes, like metallic ferrous spikes pressing into your hand. You are going to take 6 points of damage from that, as it is lodged into the base of your hand now.
I'm not helping anybody anymore. I have 10 health, by the way. So.
And as you pull away, you can see that you have one in your hand, and then Georgie still has hers in her chest. The veins have rescinded, but it has not fully removed itself. If anything, it has duplicated itself.
Damn, you multiplied it.
Well, so much for that. Maybe I should have just let her have a peaceful end. And Araceli just walks away, like muttering in Spanish at this, like just all the choice swears. Like, I'm not sticking my neck out for anyone ever again. Why do I heal things?
Yeah, just heal. Bullshit. Yeah. Okay. Georgie looks down. She goes, "I was worried that was going to happen.
You could have said something.
I didn't know."
I guess I didn't warn you. That's fair.
I think I will get down on one knee in front of Georgie before I dispatch of her, and I'll just say, you said there were so many, and if I'm going to give you a swift end anyway, so many what?
Guardians, as I think what they called themselves. And you watch as she says that the wound fragments out a little bit. Those veins seem to extend. She goes, Well, if I'm going to go, let's see if I can give you the whole story. And she grabs your collar and pulls you in. She goes, "We found it. We found the treasure. We've been looking for it all this time, this lost island, this forbidden place, but we found it." And as she's like, every word, they're spreading just like centimeter by centimeter. "We found the wreck of the Peregrine. We found the wreck of Captain Curtis Lark." And she's coughing now. It's spreading. You can see it like spreading into her arms, past her sleeves at this point, up her neck. "And it's true what they said." She reaches into her vest and pulls out a map, and she presses it into like your clavicle. "His heart of gold. He has a heart of gold." And her hand like turns into a rictus claw, and you watch as the veins come up her chin, her neck. You see them stretching towards her tongue. "And it was going to be ours." And at that, her jaw locks and becomes this kind of rictus open mouth as her head snaps back, and she is not moving.
Wow.
That was a lot of words and not a lot of useful information.
I will
I was
close her eyes.
That ring. Yep, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say okay, now I understand why Eva keeps telling me that my mic is going quiet, is because it keeps adjusting volume for some reason. Sorry about that. I close her eyes and I will slowly stand up and I will just I don't even think that Lucy's that religious. So I think just closing her eyes and then just kind of like giving a gentle nod and then turning to the crew and go, "Well."
I was gonna say, does any of that ring a bell for like any of us? Like even like the more knowledgeable or anything?
Yeah.
Let me put me in, coach.
We can put you in. Yes, if you would like to, this is I think a common enough story, but if you would like to see if you remember any specifics of it, let's see. Let's roll studies for that.
That was 2 6s, a 5, and a 1. Plus 2.
Okay, 2 6s, a 5, so that's 17, 18, and then plus 5, so 23. Okay. Araceli, you would, I think, know the story of the Peregrine. It is a story that is passed around in pirate, scuttlebutt lore. It's something that parents who have been buccaneers tell their children. It's one of those stories of tragedy and mystery, and it's one of those stories that just makes a kid have dreams of adventure. The Peregrine was a frigate that was one of the finest ships to sail the Devil's Triangle. It was one of the ships that went out most often. The captain was Captain Curtis Lark, was always first at the notice board. If anything, he would ignore the notice board. He would go out in search of eldritch things to bring back, and he made a fortune doing so, fencing these goods and building his ship to one of the most magnificent in the Brethren Court's fleet. He went out on a venture one day and never came back. He was never seen again. But he said that he had found information, and the way the legend goes is that there is a hidden island, a forbidden island, somewhere in the Devil's Triangle. And this island was said to have a heart of gold. What has since been called Captain Lark's Heart of Gold. And very much like Ponce de Leon or Cortez seeking out the Fountain of Youth or El Dorado, this was his moment of hubris, is the way the story kind of goes, as he sought it out and never returned. But this heart of gold was said to be a giant heart that bled liquid gold, and unendingly so, and could make the poorest man into the richest king merely with a touch. And it is said that he found this island. And the story goes that somebody made it back, right? That, how else would you know the story? That somebody made it back on a bit of flotsam, and, half mad, they recalled the story of a heart as big as a room that pumped liquid gold, but that there was something terrible and cursed about the island. And so he was the only one that could make it back. But it's been decades. Almost a century at this point, since any of that even came to pass. So who even knows if that part of the story is true? But supposedly there is an island out there with a great skull carved into the cliffside of it, and within the caves of that island is this heart. And supposedly that if you can follow the steps, the trail of Captain Lark, you can find this heart of gold, and whoever finds it will be one of the most powerful people who has ever lived. And ships have tried. Most don't come back. Or they come back frustrated, empty-handed, and, with, if they're lucky, not a mutiny. That's the way it goes.
I think Araceli is going to kind of TLDR this a bit, if people don't know, which I feel like most of the group would know this, but they're going to be like, this is just more white people nonsense. You think they would have learned with El Dorado, right? But no. Okay, fine. We have a map. I don't want the gold, to be clear, because I'm Latino. I know better.
Would it be wrong to sell the map? I put the map up for auction.
We need to fix this. I have no choice.
Well, yes, but I imagine it's going to cost us quite a bit, eh? So why don't we sell a map, and then we can use some of the funds from that to heal that, and I'll point at your hand.
I think this is one of those things where you have to go confront the source. It's like a...
So then we follow the map.
Yeah, but we don't take the gold. Well, we'll take some gold, but we won't take the gold. I think we should learn from history and not be little colonizers, don't you think? Because that still happened, even in this alternate world. That was the 1500s. So...
Yep. It was prior this history, yep.
Pre-Cthulhu. Yeah. So
1600s existed.
So let's learn from that. But a little greedy as a treat.
I firmly believe that El Dorado, because chthonic beings exist, I firmly believe that El Dorado was under the control of Yig, which is the big snake deity thing, and Cortez just met a very awful end. Yes, it's real, and also don't fucking go there.
And that's what Araceli grew up as a truth. Don't do it. So there's certain big levels of don't mess with that they're like, I love power, I love treasure, I love gold. However, I like living.
Gotta have some respect. You gotta draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, and also, I need to not die. So...
Not dying's nice.
Yeah. I think I'll look at Kayn and Naomi, is it Naomi or Naomi?
What have I been saying? Naomi. That's what I've been
Naomi,
saying.
okay. I thought so, and then I spoke wrong, so I apologize. So I'll look at Kayn and Naomi and just kind of hold up the map and shrug. What we think.
See, my issue with this story is that not the story itself, it's the follow-up. It's all the people being like, yes, let's go do what the first guy did that led to his death. Let's go do that. And then they die. and then they just kept doing that over and over again. And I just feel like we're in that situation now, where it's like, let's go do the thing that killed all these other people.
To be fair, no body, no crime.
Maybe they're all just living on a happy little island together and starting a brand new little country together.
Maybe they learned not to mess around with a giant heart of gold like little colonizers. Who knows?
Speaking of which, I'm surprised you turned down treasure. Didn't realize you were that scared.
I'm sorry. Lucy's holding the treasure. We said sell the map, then some other fool will go follow it. We still get money.
And then I die.
Is it getting worse? Maybe you just got a little hand tattoo now.
I don't know. GM, is it getting worse?
So you note that, like, as you're recounting that story, anytime you give a specific about it, it does seem to get a little bit worse.
So you can just not talk about it?
I was going to say, I don't need to mention this legend ever again. It would be a sick new tattoo, I guess, if I just never, ever mention specifics. Yeah.
So here's what I propose. So I say we take the map, we go find the island, but here's the catch. Instead of doing the same thing that everyone else has already done, where we go and go after the gold and we die a horrifying death, and maybe we make it back so other people can witness our horrifying death. But I think if we just go find the island and then we just confront the source to get Araceli healed, and we don't touch the gold, and I look at Naomi again and I go, and we don't touch the gold, we should be able to walk away free and clear.
Well,
Yeah, sounds good to me. Beats waiting
And
on
then we
this
come
island for
back
work.
and we sell the map, and that, let someone else go over and deal with it.
I mean,
Beats
I'm
waiting
fine
around on
with
the island for work, so.
that. Yeah, I'm with Kayn. Well, I also just like living. Important note there.
You all
Not
hear-
cursed gold along the way.
You hear footsteps behind you as you are all in this captain's quarters, and the little bit of green light that's streaming from the door is darkened by the shadow of a rather large man as you all turn around. And as he tugs on his long, darkened, smoke gray beard and puts his hands on his hips, occupying the entire doorway as he does, and then some as he's standing slightly outside of it, you would see the intimidating presence of Blackbeard, one Edward Teach. What are all of you doing?
I think Araceli's immediately going to point up their hand like, do you know what this is? You're a legendary pirate. Surely.
He takes a step back and he puts his hand over his heart and he goes, a black spot.
No,
Great.
not. If I might interject, not quite. But we can't say much more than that. Trust me, your eminence. We can't say much more than that without making it worse. So, if you wouldn't mind, we've already given Georgie here her last respects. We just would like to leave now. And I'm just gonna kind of point in the small bits of light that we can see around his body next between him and the frame. Just be like,
Is this your ship?
They're all my ship.
Including ours.
Oh,
He steps back from the doorway. Just go. Just go. I will find all of you for information later.
right, after we get this taken care of, because otherwise we won't be able to give you much information, but we'll surely understand why when we come back.
Maybe you can maybe give him.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think we can
walk
say it.
40 feet that way, and you can debrief the scary pirate man.
You can see behind you now the rest of the Brethren Court are standing there as well. So with a very wide-brimmed hat, an older gentleman, even older than Blackbeard, pot-bellied is Benjamin Hornigold. He wears a level of refinement. Blackbeard's like dressed in black leather, and there's like little studs. He's like a biker in a lot of ways. You can see where he's braided bits of his beard, and you know that anytime that he sails and goes to take another ship, he ties in little bits of a fuse into them so there can be smoke around his face, so he looks like a demon. You can see that there's Black Sam Bellamy. There's Henry Jennings, super tall, super just like thin, very very sharp features on him, and then Anne Bonny, a redheaded woman who has a number of wolf motifs about her, including a number of wolf skulls that she wears, a little bit of fur in addition to her pirate regalia. I know some of you align yourselves with certain aspects of the Brethren Court. I'm pretty sure that Lucy has subscribed to the Shadow Wolves under Anne Bonny. Are any of the rest of you directly aligned with any of the factions?
Araceli's gay, so like
So Anne Bonny, okay, yep.
immediate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair, honestly.
Yeah, she is the correct answer. Like, I get it.
Like
Naomi's really good at her greatest skill is pissing off the wrong person. So I feel like anytime it's like somebody really important, she just like instinctively avoids because she's probably done something wrong at some point. Especially Anne Bonny, because they're like she doesn't really fuck with the magic people. But she definitely like cheated in a game of cards or something and like made some or like stole from the wrong person. She just is like trying not to get in trouble right now when all of the important people are here.
Yep,
Yeah.
all of the principals of the school are here.
Yeah, keeping her head down, like, oh, don't remember me. I'm so unmemorable and uninteresting and boring. Don't look at me.
Okay, so are you all staying in the room? Are you leaving? What's the plan?
So I think we leave. I think I would take Blackbeard's advice to just leave right now.
Mhm.
I won't speak for my crew, but I am
literally our captain.
Yep.
Yeah, we kind of have to follow you.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
never
Mutinies
kinda do.
exist.
Mutinies exist, yeah.
We never looked at the hold yet. Just saying. This was like our first stop. There's still a little ship.
How loud are you saying this?
Like whispering it to Lucy. She doesn't want the others to like even know she's there. She's like hiding behind Lucy, like slightly crouching because Lucy's so short. She's like crouching and be like, we can still look at the rest of the ship.
And Derek, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your line.
Not at all, no.
It came out as reflex.
No, more power to you. I talk enough. Okay, so would you all like to explore the hold of the ship? I will say, as you walk out, you can see that Messer is there as well, as he is standing with the Brethren Court. Not too many other folks are around, and they are kind of standing around the captain's, like the door to the captain's quarters. They've made kind of like a half circle around it, so that you really have to pass by every single one of them as you leave.
Give me 1 second. Let me think about what Naomi just suggested and if Lucy would be down for it or not. I'm trying to think.
I'm also very stealthy.
These are the principles of the school, you know, in like a
I
video
know.
game where if you tried to stealth past, like you would not, they're the bosses.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I'm like trying to think. Like,
But it would be funny to watch you try.
okay, I'm not as familiar. I've only been on one pirate ship in my entire life, so I'm not as familiar with the layout. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, Derek,
Yes.
if we leave the captain's quarters,
Mhm.
is there a way to get to the hold that is not immediate view of the Brethren Court?
There's probably a couple of pathways that you could take. There is the bilge, which you could access from that's like the big like square hatch that's
Okay.
flush with the floor. So you could try to go down there. There's probably steps. That's where you load everything in.
Okay.
Alternatively, as you go towards the forecastle, there are 2 sets of stairs that are meant for like crewmates who are just going down to, for the end of their shift, that you could take down there. So if everybody has their back to you, you could potentially get down that way. If you're looking for a really squirrely way to get in, you could try to get in through one of the gun ports along the side.
Oh, I'm not. My character's not built for stealth. I think I'll look at Kayn and Araceli, and I will say, what do you two think? I don't want to send her down there without someone who's more knowledgeable about all the magic and the occult. She'll get herself killed.
When I did detect magic, I detected everything on the ship, right? Or just that room?
It doesn't really specify. Let me double check the language on it. The way that I was interpreting it was everything that you would be able to otherwise visually see would appear as magical. I didn't interpret it as like penetrating through surfaces like you can see through walls and stuff like that. But let me double check that it doesn't actually say that.
Do I have like night vision that is like
Yeah, I've always interpreted detect magic to be again like infrared. It's heat vision. So you're not necessarily like seeing through thick levels of material unless something is incredibly radiating, some sort of energy. Let's see. Suddenly aware of any magic in the area. Magic spells, uncanny activity happening. General direction. Okay, up to 40 feet from you. It doesn't necessarily say that, it's just what you immediately see. So I'm going to say that you can pick up on something that is also beneath you. So deeper into the ship, there is something that is also giving off, and in addition, again, to every surface of the ship that's carved with these runes, there is something that seems to be, you can't tell exactly what it is, you're not getting the image, but you get the feeling that there is something below.
There is something down there, and I cannot go with you because I don't want to piss any of these people off, and also I'm not built for that.
I'll go.
All right. I'll stay here and keep an eye on and I'll just nod towards the Brethren Court. I'll do my best to stall him if you need it.
That would be nice.
All right, Kayn, let's head out.
Yay.
Just announcing loudly.
All right, Kayn, Naomi, how would you like to get deeper into the ship? And then, am I correct that Araceli and Lucy are staying behind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My character already has been cursed. They don't need more.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea for that.
If the entire Brethren Court is like crowded around the captain's quarter
Room.
and like
Mhm.
room and no one would see us, just straight up use the stairs, then I don't see why we'd need to get fancy with it. We could just sneakily use the stairs if no one's looking.
Yeah, let's call it a savvy roll. It's just going to be a normal roll since you have Lucy and Araceli who are kind of running interference. And yeah, as you look in, the Brethren Court have fully moved into the captain's quarters at this point. Yeah, Blackbeard is a very imposing figure. Henry Jennings has to like duck to get through the door. Benjamin Hornigold has to kind of squeeze through the door a little bit because he's a rather rotund individual. And Bonnie does turn around for just a moment, but she is looking directly at Lucy, and she crosses her arms a little bit. Have you named your ship yet?
Sorta. It's got. We're calling it now the. Hold on. Wait.
Placeholder.
The placeholder.
No, not the placeholder. What was the other name we joked about?
Nameless?
The Merciless was what you were
No, not the Merciless.
gonna steal.
Alright, fine, you know what? We're gonna call it the placeholder for right now.
I am half tempted to make an incentive for like $50 where somebody can name the ship for the day.
That would be awesome.
I
I think we called it
Yeah.
the unnamed. I think was what the other one I think we were calling it. Yeah.
the unnamed, yeah.
I like placeholder because it's a place that holds things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her lips purse and she spits on the ground. That's fucking terrible.
Look, I know, but you also know that it's not good luck to go out on the sea with no name on the ship. We might as well be tattooing curse on our foreheads.
Araceli
So it's
just
been
holds up
nothing.
their hand.
That can be arranged. Come up with a name. Call it the rubber duck. I don't care.
Actually, the rubber duck's already taken.
That's right. It's a fine vessel. Naomi and Kayn, go ahead and roll me that savvy check.
Oh my god, why am I
Have
rolling
no
so
savvy.
bad? This is literally my thing, and I'm rolling so bad. Let's get a reroll here.
Just so you got that reroll.
And
Can I actually cast a spell to help me with this? Actually.
You sure could. Actually, I could even argue that this could be a seafaring roll if you don't want to do that instead. But please, Abhishek, go ahead and what's the spell?
Yeah.
do I know
Wrapped
the
in
do we know the
shadow?
DC?
I'm sorry, 1 second, Maya. What was the spell?
Good. Wrapped in shadow.
Wrapped in shadow? Okay. Maya, what was your question?
Do we know the number that we have to beat?
The number is going to be a normal roll, so it's going to be 16.
Okay, then I beat that.
Wrapped in
19.
shadow. There we go. Spell shadow right. There we go. So you cast a number 7 for that. You make an expensive gesture from one side of your body to the other as if pulling a cloak around you. Expensive is a weird adverb. Shadow
I mean, it's
swirl.
like big, like not my mic like that, but like big whoosh. I guess. Like
It's
I'm
so
pulling a cloak
dramatic.
myself.
Yeah, dramatic,
Yeah.
fanciful.
Yeah, I guess it would be an adjective gesture, isn't it? Anyway,
Yeah.
dark tendrils cling to you. Blah blah. Cast this on yourself if successful. You count as being in heavy cover if targeted and gain a reroll on any stealth or hiding checks. Great. Yeah. So go ahead and do your spell casting. So you're looking for a 7 on that.
And then I think because my knowledge of the profane skill from my Riven class, it lets me gain a die without having to spend a courage point when casting any harness spell. So-
Great.
We are polar opposite vibes. Very.
Yeah. Right. So that is 9. It's 10 plus 3 harness. That's 13.
Yeah, so you were successful in that. So go ahead. You're gonna get your reroll then for your stealth. So we'll call this savvy.
All right, let's do that.
This
savvy.
is your coolest spell by far.
It's the only spell I've cast so far. To be fair, I've got loads more.
Oh, this
Haven't
is
been caught by
Naomi
yet.
talking. She wants. If she doesn't fuck with magic, she fucks with this spell.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. Let's see. So you can be stabby or seafaring, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Seafaring, because I think that's why I actually have one in that. But I'll take that. That's 5 plus 4, 9 plus 12, 12 plus 2, 14 plus 1, 15. 15. And then I think I can do a reroll with that one.
Yes, you get 1 reroll.
And that just means I can roll 1 of my dice, correct?
Correct.
Reroll my 2 then. It's 2. Great.
Okay. What I will say is I will give you a nudge for this, but it's going to be a bit of a devil's bargain. So you will be able to position yourself to get down the stairs, but you are going to trip just a little bit going down. You're not going to be seen, you're not going to be heard, but you are going to take Naomi with you as you go down these darkened stairs, and you both will tumble to the bottom. Otherwise, there is the real possibility that as
You could get discovered.
that as Anne Bonny is dressing down Lucy, she will see you going like from behind Lucy, because Lucy is rather short.
True. Actually, I'm looking at focus harnessing. It does say I get a reroll when casting another harness spell, so I did forget to read that.
Okay, if you get another reroll, go for it.
I'll do that.
God help you, you get another 2.
God, if I might actually, if I get another one, I'm just burning my reroll at that point.
Together is funny as hell. I love that.
It also is funny, so I wouldn't mind that, but please don't make it a 2.
Fanfic ass moment.
Honestly. There's no way.
Yeah! We get to be
no
dumbasses! We get to be dumbasses!
I would get rid of that die if I were you.
We have our fanfic moment of
3
talking
2s.
over each other.
This is this is going back. Where's my other D6? Yep. That is you're going back. Yep, back again for you.
Okay.
This is awesome.
Fine. Bless this mess indeed.
And this is a like rounded staircase. There's 2 of them. They round down, kind of meet at the bottom, and you're going down one side of it, the same side for some reason as Naomi, and it's dark. No lanterns are lit. It's overcast as it is. You miss the first step. There's a little chunk taken out of it, and your boot just slides a little bit. And as we've described, Naomi a little bit smaller than you, so when that kinetic force meets, you both go tumbling around these stairs, rolling about and slamming onto the floor below. You both take 1 point of damage from that. But as that happens, Anne Bonny kind of looks behind you, Lucy, and she goes, "This place is falling apart." Anyway, do some brainstorming about your damn boat name. I'm it's embarrassing at this point.
Scout Sonar. Will do.
She just nods, side eyes as she's moving back towards the captain's quarters. And from within, you can hear that, like, Black Sam Bellamy and Blackbeard are just yelling at each other about something. And Hornigold is just standing in there with his fingers on the bridge of his nose, just shaking his head. You can tell that this Brethren Court is having a bit of a moment. And as Anne Bonny walks in, she shoves the desk aside with one hand. She goes, "Enough of this shite!" Let's cut over to Kayn and Naomi. You reach the mid deck.
Falling all over me. This is embarrassing.
What I feel like it would have ended up with, like, through the tumble, somehow Naomi would have ended up on top of Kayn. Somehow.
Yeah. For our fanfic moment, just like,
yeah.
Maybe this isn't the best time or place.
Never speak of this again.
Absolutely not. I'm not taking you up on that. Everyone will know. And she gets up.
So you have made it to the gun deck, as well as the general quarters. And as you look around, you can see that there is a door swung wide, which is essentially right next to you. As you look inside, this appears to be the surgeon's quarters, and there's a little bit of light streaming in from, again, the gun ports, from a few portholes. It's rough in there. The door's open enough that you can see that something really bad happened in this room, and it has been thoroughly painted and dried with that horrible altercation. Looking forward, you can see that there are hammocks hanging, all of them very still, many of them tilted softly to the side. A few of the footlockers have all slid as well. And then straight ahead, you can see that there is another series of steps which lead downwards into the hold itself. And you would also see the galley ahead as well. There's a little kind of pocket where the cook would operate, and a few benches in here as well that are nailed down.
since you are the master of bad vibes, are you wanting to investigate whatever the hell happened in there, or should we move on?
I feel like there's more important things, but I think as he does say this, Kayn would take a cursory look, not going like in depth, but he would kind of like to get a general vibe as to like what exactly could have happened here.
Sure. Let's call this an accuracy roll.
Yeah.
Or we can even say studies.
Either or, yeah.
Yeah.
Much better. That's 2 6s, a 5, and a 4.
Great. So 21, yeah.
Plus 1. Yeah, so 22. Either way. We'll say accuracy for this.
Doing a little bit of forensics, it would be fair to say that from the streaks, from the splatter, it's like something exploded in here. It's like someone exploded in here, but a little more than that. As you can see, scratches in the wood. You can see that several of the cabinets have been shattered open. There's broken glass on the ground. But the sheer amount of blood and viscera that are on the ceiling alone, something was pretty nasty in here. Something really really bad happened, and probably judging by the amount of blood and viscera, more than one person was the victim of this.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, we should probably move on, unless you want to see the remains of exploded people here.
Good. She's just kind of been like pacing around the room outside of the horrible room to see if she can just see any like belongings that were left behind or anything worth taking. That's always what she's looking for.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the odd things is that you can see that there's leftover food on some plates that have kind of slid off the benches. You can see the footlockers almost all have locks on them. But as you're looking around the steps that lead downwards, in this otherwise darkened environment, you see a bit of light just kind of cast around the corner from down the stairs. There's something that illuminates for just a moment, and then the light moves away.
Something moving. She takes out a knife and
Did you see what it was?
nope, but it has light. Maybe someone with a lantern or something.
Right. I think Kayn would probably grab his quarterstaff just in case, but just cautiously traipsing down the hallway, or just towards whatever the direction wherever the moving thing was.
Yeah, it was in the hold, so it'd be down the steps there.
Okay, so yeah, definitely down the steps, but very cautiously.
Okay. Moving down the steps, it's dark and still, but you can see there's a little bit of orangish light being cast from around the corner, and it's definitely tighter. Like where you were before on the gun deck, it's not the tallest. It's definitely not, a 10-foot tall room, but it is tall enough that a 6-foot tall person could stand and maybe just graze the top of their head on the boards above. The hold is much different. It is, you have to hunch down just a little bit. Probably even Lucy might just get the top of her head. There's lots of barrels down here, lots of net webbing that's holding things together, and everything down here seems pretty undisturbed. But as you walk down the steps, you can see that little bit of light, and as you curve around the corner, you see a figure. You see a hooded individual who is holding what appears to be a lantern. They seem to be wearing a cloak that drapes over their head, obscuring their face in darkness. They hold out a hand with this light, and this light is very bright in this darkened space, and kind of catches your eyes for just a moment. And they stand unmoving.
Hello.
Do not hear a response.
Bad vibes. And then she just turns to Kayn. Care to confirm?
Fine. He's not gonna get closer because God knows what will happen if he gets closer. So he's just going to do the tried and true method of poke with stick.
This is an iconic duo. I love this.
He's going to quite literally take his quarterstaff and just lightly tap like the back of the figure, essentially just like try and like hello, like it doesn't even like just respond to stimuli in general. Or not even just auditory, just physical touch or anything.
Naomi watches in approval. She would also have poked it with a stick if she had one.
Yes, brilliant plan. Yes.
Yep.
You take a step closer. I mean, it's 20 feet away at the far end of the ship at this point, giving off this light. So you do have to walk closer to it to poke it with a quarterstaff. It doesn't move as you approach. Statuesque. Although the smell of it would tell you that it's not a statue. It is the smell of low tide about it. And it's just when you're about to reach, this thing snaps. It reaches out a clawed hand and grabs your quarterstaff and pulls you in closer, ripping back the hood as it does. And before you see that this is not a lantern being held, this is the light of a terrifying anglerfish man. Its lower jaws bent upwards, and it opens them to wrap around your head as it has pulled you in and seems to be kind of wrapping its body and teeth about you.
Bad vibes! Super
Bad
bad vibes!
Bad vibes. Bad vibes indeed. Let's go ahead and end there for the day. So
I love that.
when we come back next time, we can see
Don't split
the fate
party.
in a horror game.
Aw.
Next time we'll see the fate of Kayn with this Angler Man, a really cool design in Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. So stick around for all of these wonderful people to talk more about themselves, and definitely stick around for those of you who have entered the giveaway. We're going to decide that here in just a moment, but also check us out next week for even more Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. So I am going to have these lovely people say more about themselves and where you can find more of them. I highly recommend you do, and then after that we'll do some channel stuff, and then we'll wrap up for the night. So Abhishek, where can we find more of your lovely self?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Again, my name is Abhishek, he and pronouns. I've been playing Kayn, our Riven, who's maybe about to get eaten by a mangler. Thank you, thank you, Thorny Dryad, for coning that. You can find really more. I'm a Tokusatsu. I'm a TTRPG performer, voice actor, and lover of all things Tokusatsu. You can find me on Twitter at neon_Raiden, on BlueSky at neonRaiden. For stream stuff, you can actually find me this Wednesday for Pride and Wrath, for Sword and Keys Pride Month. And then you'll also find me here again next Sunday for more Cursed Captains of Cthulhu.
Wonderful. Next up, we have Dex.
Hi, I'm Dax, a she, her pronouns. I am the game master and producer of Roads Uncharted, the first ever longest running 3-time award nominated Genesis RPG actual play podcast. Yes, that is a mouthful. You can find me on BlueSky at GMDax. You can also find me on my channel, DexR19, where I do a lot of charity events. In fact, I will be posting an announcement in a week or so for an upcoming charity miniseries of my own that is Star Wars themed. So check out my BlueSky and stay tuned for that.
Fantastic. I'm very excited about that. Next up, we have Val.
Hi, that me. Hi, I am Val. My pronouns are she, they. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Space Valkyries. I'm trying to do more Let's Play demos of indie games since it is Steam Next Fest and just a bunch of showcases right now on my YouTube channel, so I would love you to check that out. Also, I was in a co-host in the Wholesome Games, the Wholesome Direct. So if you go watch that in about 23 minutes-ish, I think, thereabouts, you could see me. And that's terrifying to think about further. So, yeah.
That was really awesome. I was really happy to see you there. Next up, we have Amaya.
Muted.
I think you're muted, bud.
What?
You're probably hard muted. There we go.
Oh, I just probably wasn't talking loud enough. I'm Amaya, and I've been playing Naomi. I do art and comics and character designs and stuff, usually based on TTRPGs. I just released a comic based on a D&D campaign that I did when I was like 15. And it has like a physical release now, which is really cool. There's information about that on my Instagram. You can also read it online for free.
Amazing. This is such a really cool cast. I'm very excited to be playing with all of these amazing people. I highly recommend checking out all of the stuff that they do. I know Val's a published author. Dax has the incredible podcast. Abhishek seems to be everywhere that I turn. I see more of him. And Amaya, the artwork is it's top notch. I highly recommend supporting these people in all of their endeavors and casting them in your games. Dax especially, forever GM, cast Dax in your games. I'm Derek Sword. I use he, him pronouns. I have been your GM for this game and many games here on Sword and Key. I am the Sword half of Sword and Key, and Sword is my real last name. Yes, it's awesome. No, you can't have it. For all of Sword and Key stuff, you can find everything at beacons.ai/Sword and Key. Right up at the top is Twitch. If you're watching this live, go and give us a follow. It's very much appreciated. Right beneath that is our Discord. You can hang out with cool folks and talk about cool things. It's also the first place where we post our applications when we have future games coming up. We also have movie nights that happen every other week. I'll talk more about that when we get to our calendar. Lots of really good stuff over the Discord and even better people. So check it out. Beacons also has our socials. Right now we're using BlueSky and Instagram. I don't see us ever going back to Twitter at this point, but it's there. We didn't delete it or anything. So it's just there is some sort of monument, a testament to hubris. You can follow all of that. We always try to post stuff there, BlueSky and Instagram. As you scroll down even more on Beacons, you can see links to our affiliates. We have a number of fantastic affiliates, like Eldritch Foundry. They make custom minis. They also just released some VTT stuff, which is really, really cool. So if you were looking to get a custom mini of your TTRPG character, no matter how weird and wild or normal and mild they happen to be, you can go there and use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase. You can also use code Sword and Key for 10% off your first purchase at Long Dog Dice. Their wonderful Jen makes incredible dice sets like these. Oh, they're so pretty. These are official Horizons Call dice. They are vibrant blue, various shades of blue, as well as little flakes of copper. And let's see if I can get close. That is the Sword and Key logo on the D6, which is really, really cool. So Jen has pre-sale going on for pre-orders for all of these, as well as a number of other fantastic dice. She just added a bunch to the store, so you can get your own set here as well. And you will not be disappointed. And also, don't ask if they're balanced. They're balanced. Trust me, I've rolled it a ton of times. It doesn't roll 2 every time, I swear. Sorry, Abhishek. But you are guaranteed to find something you love, and even if you see something that is close but not exactly there, you can fill out forms to get a custom set of dice made, and I guarantee the prices are very, very fair. Let's see. We're also affiliates with Hit Point Press, so you can use our custom link if you're going to be purchasing anything from them, and you're guaranteed to find something you want there, because they have Humblewood, they have Griffin Saddlebag books, they have VTT stuff of their own, they have music licenses and minis, and even a plush of a little owlin fighter. It's very, very cute. So if you're going to be getting anything from Hit Point Press, please use our link if you're going to do so. As you scroll down even more on the Beacons, you're going to find links to Monster Crush. That's a podcast to do with my friend LD. It's about cryptids, creatures, miscellaneous monsters from myth and how smooshable they are. It is a monster fucker podcast. And for Pride Month, we are going to be talking about a really important monster and somebody who I think exemplifies LGBT culture, as well as somebody who is... I think somebody a lot of people in the LGBTQ community look up to and have since the 80s, and that is Skeletor from He-Man. Gay icon Skeletor.
I was immediately gonna go Mothman, right?
Well, I have a Mothman here with the bodacious butt. So I thought
Mothman
that's
also very gay.
what
Yes.
you were going for. I
Yeah.
was ready. I had it.
Mothman was our episode 69, so we have already
Nice.
discussed
Nice.
Mothman. Yes. So we are at well over 100 episodes. You can absolutely listen to us talk about Mothman and his well-defined ass, which is weirdly part of the lore of Mothman, is his well-defined glutes. But yes, we talk about Skeletor and his well-defined glutes on this one. So you can check that out where podcasts are found. That is probably going to be coming up tomorrow at this point, because I have not done a second of editing on it, and it is 6 o'clock, and I still have to do other things tonight. So check out Monster Crush wherever podcasts are found. We'll have a new episode out here very soon. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at our calendar. I say confidently having it. I sure do. Okay, so today is the 8th. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time, we have the next episode of Fragments of Loss. That is our Rangers of Broken World game run by Angela, Phoenix 24 Femme. Great cast in that. I'm very excited for it. It's been going for a few weeks now. It's a really cool, interesting game, kind of like post-apocalyptic fantasy, trying to put the world back together kind of thing, but in micro ways, because it's so broken. All you can do is your best. It's really great. Gate Night is taking this week off, so it's not playing the 10th, but we'll be playing the 17th. That is where LD Shadow and I play Baldur's Gate 3. It's currently the only video game streamed here on Sword and Key. On the 11th, that is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we have the first of the two-part 5e game that Alex is running for us. Alex is one of my favorite GMs. Is going to be running Pride and Wrath. So we'll have part 1 on the 11th, part 2 on the 18th. The 12th, that is Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, we have the next episode of Under Blue Moon. That is the 80s camp slasher game being run by Cassiopeia, and it is a summer and woodlake game using the Powered by the Apocalypse rule set. On Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we have our next Sword and Key movie night. Our movie nights are totally free. All you gotta do is just be a member of the Discord and hang out. You're welcome to chat about the movie as well. And this week we're going to be watching the newest Lord of the Rings movie, The War of the Rohirrim, the 2024 film. So that'll be pretty fun. And then on Saturday, Horizon's Call will be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time. That's our multi-year ongoing nautical campaign, which is why I know so much about sailing. Having a deep fear of a deep thalassophobic fear. I don't like the ocean, but I know a lot about it, and that's what validates my fear. And then a week from today, on the 15th, we will have at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tales from the Loop. That is the penultimate episode of that game. Tales from the Loop, Signals from Above. That's being run by the wonderful Neek. And then we'll be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time with more Cursed Captains of Cthulhu for our second episode out of 4. There's more stuff happening this month. There's a lot of stuff going on, so I'm just going to do 1 week because otherwise it's going to be overwhelming. But all of our calendar and our events, they are on our Discord, the Google Calendar. There's also a link for that there. Cool. I'm going to talk to Eva, even though you can't see her. Do we have a winner for the giveaway? I read your lips when you said yes. I didn't know. Okay. Oh, it's Ren. Congratulations, Ren. Okay. Ren, massive congratulations to you. That's really awesome. I hope that you really enjoy this game and maybe even run it. I hope also, just personally, I hope that your GMing, I know you've been doing that professionally. I hope that's being really successful for you. Thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you for donating to Lambda Legal. It is a really important organization, especially right now, especially in America. So everything that you donate is being matched dollar for dollar, and it's going towards a really, really great, really efficacious cause. So thank you for spending your time and your dollars as well. It's never required, but always very much appreciated. I think that is it for us tonight. We are going to be rating Records of the Realm, so go spread some positivity over there. In the meantime, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I hope to see you tomorrow for Fragments of Loss, if not in a week for more Cursed Captains of Cthulhu. But regardless, when we see you next, take care of yourselves and fair winds and following seas.